The warmth of an embrace wrapped around him made Leon startle as he realized I have been reincarnated into a fantasy world. A silent ceiling, and instead of the glaring light of LED lamps, there were dim, flickering candles. This is a fantasy world that is still extremely backward compared to Earth. This is probably the home of a fairly wealthy family. For an orphaned, homeless boy who died from overwork like him, this place is quite decent to be reborn. Ah, there is one more reason that made him think he was born into a wealthy family. The mother of this child was extremely beautiful. She happily spoke in the ancient tongue, "My child," which reassured him further. Fortunately, it seemed I would not face problems in my romantic life in the future here. 3 years later passed. The once helpless Leon could stand on a chair by himself. He saw the outside world for the first time through the window, beyond his cradle. Leon's eyes widened and shone brightly at that sight. Leon also marveled. This really is another world. The world beyond his cradle was truly vast, but he was still just a kid. However, Leon's little exploration ended quite quickly. The maid panicked when she saw him. "Young master." She quickly carried Leon back. "Young master, it's dangerous. Your father, the Grand Duke, will." The boy replied sadly, "I'm sorry, sister. I know that my family belongs to a noble ducal line. The renown of my house echoes throughout the kingdom." At 8 years old, Leon was finally allowed to hold a sword. "I am the son of Grand Duke Dragonia of the Kingdom of Lionheart, so I also have the title of Duke." Leon began learning swordsmanship so that he could become a knight for the kingdom in the future. A knight in that fantasy world. Could he also use sword aura and aura then? And Leon's teacher was one of the knights assigned by the palace, the Holy Knight, Sir Gothic. The first impression of him was gentleness. "I am sure this is the will of that goddess. Teaching this boy will bear fruit. Very pleased to meet you, Leon." The boy was extremely eager at that time. "A holy knight. Please guide me, Sir Gothic. What is this?" So when he was 14 he had to strain carrying stones. That damned Gothic. This is child abuse if anything. A holy knight truly was a monster in human guise, and it was extremely difficult to be recognized as a holy knight. He was there observing. "Another round. You must complete your training tasks. Become a knight of the kingdom through your own experience and honor." Leon attacked the opponent with all his strength, chosen by the sacred hall, and received the holy water. In return, Gothic merely waved his hand lightly. "Moreover, as the son of Dragonia, I must absorb all necessary knowledge to become a Grand Duke." A single simple blow was enough to fling Leon away. Observe the opponent until the end. Lessons to inherit the role of Grand Duke accumulated during the days of training to become a holy knight. If there truly is a god in the high sky, then he wanted to ask him to come down and save me, although Leon did not follow the faith. Very quickly Leon became a 16-year-old youth traveling alone in the rain. He gripped his coat tightly. "It must be somewhere around here. I have traveled the world." To gain recognition from the goddess, and become a holy knight after fulfilling his mission. So how to receive the goddess's recognition? If you keep doing good deeds and improve your reputation, the goddess will soon knock on your door. Suddenly a great fire broke out in the forest. "Save me. There are still many orcs rushing in." Leon thought to himself, "It sounds ridiculous." Meanwhile, the humans were gradually losing ground. "Sir Gildas, there are too many orcs to resist now." He gripped his sword and gritted his teeth. "Is this the end?" They cried in despair as the monsters surged forward. "O goddess above, please protect us." And at that moment he also realized. But there are countless chances for him to swing his sword and fight. This was what made him most worried. Behind an orc, someone suddenly shouted, "You filthy trash! How dare you trespass into the territory of this kingdom with those rotten bare feet?" Leon decisively cleaved the monster in two. The kingdom had too many enemies. Upon reaching his 20th year of life, he met the goddess. Ariana gently asked, "Are you the son of Walgric Dragonia, Leon Dragonia?" Leon himself was somewhat surprised, so they were not lying. She really was a goddess. Then she calmly continued, "I will give you a mission so you can prove your honor and faith." The boy immediately knelt. "I accept your command, O goddess Ariana. The goddess truly exists." After years of working like a slave, Leon finally became a holy knight. Battles increased more and more. Afterward I would kill and then kill again. His mind was entirely focused on the sword strokes. I slay orcs, cut goblins. One after another were defeated by Leon, and he dealt with the wicked cults. In the end, Leon also became a war knight of the kingdom, which gave him the power to summon other knights. He had slaughtered 700,000 orcs. Leon smiled inwardly. Those filthy green bastards. I feel exhilarated. At the threshold of 35 years, the living saint and demigod, King of Lionheart, passed away. That heartbreaking event occurred while he was fighting the demon king summoned by the Empire. Dealing with every orc was already troublesome. Now those damned demons were running rampant everywhere. This is why humans must believe in the gods and live with faith. The damned mages from the Empire. Putting that aside, they needed to elect a holy knight who could succeed to the position of King of Lionheart, who died in honor. Ariana finally appeared again. Holy Knight Leon Dragonia, O knight full of my faith, you have succeeded in becoming a symbol of honor and faith. Amid that chaos the goddess descended, and among those knights she chose me. Leon tried to hide his displeasure. Yes, O goddess Ariana, I lie in a state of both honor and fatigue, but I cannot let the people of the kingdom or the knights under my command feel disappointed. He absorbed the sacred relic, the heart of the lion from the goddess, and swore to protect the Holy Grail. From then the noble crown was placed upon his head, and that is how Leon became Grand Duke Dragonia, and inherited the throne to become king of the kingdom of Lionheart. The young man quickly rode out to the battlefield. Many events occurred at that time. There were great wars with the orcs, the hunched goblins crazily evolved into great demons, and the Empire made matters even more complicated. The soldier beside him spoke solemnly, Your Majesty. He reported, the Imperial Academy of Mages has started experiments again. Leon's reaction was icy. All of this is because those empires accepted the damned heretics from the north. He thought tiredly, how dare they flee from the gods? Those bastards, summon the knights. This is the result of granting human rights to people unworthy to be slaves. I should purge them clean. More time passed. At 96 the damned empire finally did that atrocity. That old man loudly proclaimed, I present to you 3 million souls as a sacrifice. Please fulfill my request. The emperor had crossed the line. The bastard who always said he did not want to die sacrificed himself along with the lives of 3 million citizens in the capital. His body transformed grotesquely, and he summoned the Lord of Chaos right in the capital. Leon summoned the knights with the sacred sword still not dry, the orc blood still faintly on the blade from the previous year. March on the Empire. At 121 he did his utmost, but sadly the world was still destroyed contrary to his wishes. Leon did everything to defeat every evil that existed with all the divine powers on this continent. But he could not. A worried knight approached him. Your Highness Leon. Leon's face was obscured and only a sad tone could be heard. Sir Aaron, you may hold your head up with pride. Your father, Leon continued with difficulty, died in honor and joined the gods above. He choked and replied, yes. Nonetheless, they had to keep moving forward. Ah, goddess, the whole army, look ahead. Your war horses tremble with fear. The women try to bury their cries deep within. The children swallow their tears. Leon asked them, do you hear the voices of the wicked enemies echoing across the land? The younger generation carried a faint flame of resistance in their hands, and the knights tried to sow seeds of hope on this blood-soaked wasteland. Those who stole our brothers, do you hear the voices of those who took away those we love? But O my goddess, master of the holy sword, the holy lance and the holy grail, do you hear the voice of the enemy? Those who are poised to seize everything in their path. The young man loudly encouraged the army. Feel righteous rage, feel rage until the final moment. The doll that had been placed by him earlier was set beside the stone steel. Direct that rage at the fools drowned in illusions of glory. I, a knight of humankind, will not be able to stop the evil that has spread across the realm to the horizon. All the soldiers solemnly obeyed, and remember, as long as honor remains, we will not lose. A radiant halo appeared when Leon drew the sacred sword. O goddess, O my goddess. Their steeds began to charge. What should this foolish knight do? For the goddess, that pure voice soothed him again. "O my knight, O beloved knight full of honor." Each word Leon spoke became more difficult. "For honor." Ariana kept comforting them. "Your goddess will be by your side until the last moment, O my knight." The old flag was raised high for this Lionheart. Though weary, he still gave the order, "Whole army, attack." That winter we fought the final battle against thousands upon thousands of demons that had flooded this land. Savage slaves were used as worthy flesh shields, and while his knights were equipped with spears and shields, they died in honor alongside those heroic knights, and the one chosen by the gods from the countless sanctuaries fought alone single-handedly against the demons until the last minute. He tore apart countless demon lords and demon generals, and showed those bastards the power of a holy knight. 217 years passed, but the sword and the monsters remained. Winter had not ended. Thus at 231, 234, 256 years old, he shattered the final demonic gate. Everything exploded before Leon's eyes. They had nowhere left to run. Leon raised those mad eyes at them. "You lowly disciples of the devil, now you will be trapped here with me, in this very world." They were so frightened they froze in place. "I will exterminate you all, leave no one. I will not be trapped." It was those bastards who were trapped here with Leon. "You scoundrels, you villains." Exactly at 300 years old, the Overlord was also defeated by that overwhelming power. Someone exclaimed in surprise, "Hari, are you okay?" The other asked bewildered, "What happened?" Before them was the Overlord's head. He defeated the great demon in a single strike. Its power had completely vanished. Now it was only a useless skull. The radiance emanating from Leon's body grew even stronger. "Wake up, hero. There is no more time. Wake." The two were bewildered by the scene. "Who are you?" Leon's clothes were burned away by his power. "I am the king of Lionheart." The young man slowly turned, a knight among heroic knights, and the bearer of faith, the will of the sanctuaries. A mighty aura continuously radiated from him. "Leon Dragonia Lionheart." Hari immediately wore a shocked expression. "In the 300th year, I have met mortals." Then suddenly a system interface appeared. "You have exterminated all demons. Number of remaining demons is..." A gate had opened in the middle of Seoul, a black gate whose level could not be determined. The Korean Hunters Association and the World Hunters Association requested that the great guilds of various nations participate in the raid. But the request was refused because no one knew the difficulty of the gate. Mary and the other hunters were gathered and were now at that gate. In the end, the government ordered the Hunters Association to enter first, which in essence was nothing short of a death sentence. The world it led to was one shrouded in gloom, and there they met Leon. What I saw inside was Mary completely frozen in astonishment. A naked man. The corpses of monsters were scattered everywhere even more terrifyingly. "Hari, Assistant Han." The voice calling became clearer. "Hey, Han Hari." At that moment Han Hari, deputy manager of the association, hurriedly woke up. Kim Jinsu, the association's manager, handed her some water. "You are tired, aren't you?" The girl quickly replied, "Yes, thank you." He continued the previous topic. "How are things?" Hari bluntly said. "No one believes it." Hearing that Jinsu was not too surprised, understandable. It was a black demon gate, and even within it there were great demons. Surviving and returning without help from other guilds was already a miracle. But clearing it completely, yes, that was impossible. And that all came from Leon's strong back. All thanks to one single person. Back to the present. He was now dressed and wore a serious expression. Hari hesitantly asked, "You are a survivor, right, stepping out from the gate?" He nodded, "Yes, a survivor from another world." There had been some cases where humans could survive inside gates. The gates that had appeared worldwide 30 years ago had many similarities. The theme of those gates was a world on the brink or already destroyed. And sometimes, those who survived and returned to Earth possessed unimaginable powers they had gained in the demon realm. It could be a mighty knight wearing an iron helmet. That was why the government always tried to please the survivors and planned to recruit them. After reaching an agreement, both sides shook hands to cooperate. Hari also realized the issue. We must recruit them at any cost. That man, he is terrifyingly strong. Jinsu immediately agreed. Yes, at any cost. He looked at Leon with wary eyes. Even a rank hunter would have to risk his life fighting a high-ranking demon. Yet he killed the great demon with a single strike. Jinsu recalled the terror on its face, that monster which even veterans rank hunters feared. And then came Leon's sword strike that could split the sky. He did not merely kill it. When the great demon's head fell, a violent tremor was created. Leon calmly sheathed his sword as if out of habit. He had completely overwhelmed it. The blood on his face had not yet dried. Jinsu felt uneasy. Well, what worries me most now is the cultural difference. From the way he speaks about himself, he must be some kind of royal or something. Hari suddenly said, I think it will be fine, which puzzled him. Why do you think so? The girl cheerfully replied, I can feel it from his voice. He is an extremely kind person. No sooner had she finished speaking than Leon on this side burst out in rage. Lowborn. The window glass in the room shattered into pieces. Both of their faces turned pale. The glass capable of stopping monsters had broken. The divine power from the young man burned fiercely. How dare you defile the noble name of Lionheart? Jinsu questioned. The extremely kind person you said, and Hari awkwardly answered. Cultural difference, I suppose. 15 minutes earlier, in a room equipped with surveillance cameras, the association staff and Leon sat facing each other in silence. His heart was uneasy. The feeling was strange. Old memories suddenly flooded back. Yes, I was once an orphan, working endlessly through my 20s and dying from exhaustion. Leon retraced his timeline. After that, I was reincarnated into another world. Then, upon reaching adulthood, I became the king and knight of a kingdom for over a century. The next period of Leon's life was arduous. After conquering the demon realm, I hunted demons for 200 years. He folded his arms and reflected. That makes 300 years in total. At least it eases me to still have some memories of this place. The association member hesitated, wanting to speak. He carefully began. Hello. You are Leon Dragonia Lionheart, right? The young man calculated cautiously. Still, it would not be beneficial to reveal the truth that I was once from Earth. Leon asked himself, being a kingly knight who lived 300 years in another world sounds much better than a guy who died from overwork at 20, doesn't it? He sternly commanded, Call me your majesty, you country bumpkin. The young man, meeting such a situation for the first time, was utterly bewildered. Yet he quickly corrected himself. Ah, yes, your majesty. Leon noticed that detail. He obeyed my words. Doubt rose within Leon. Is he truly a good person? Or is the government merely cautious when approaching survivors like me? Meanwhile, the other man awkwardly continued. Well then, he slowly explained, the Black Gate, your majesty's world, had a conflict with our hunters. As he approached the main issue, his voice grew smaller. And you killed all those demons, right? Leon replied shortly. Yes. Then he reminded the man. Have you forgotten? The staff jumped in shock. Sorry, you mean? Before the man could grasp it, Leon firmly declared, I have slain all demonkind and defended the honor of the knights. I order you to serve as my temporary secretary. Leon decided himself. I shall grant you the privilege to record this noble event. Sweat poured down the man's face like rain. Yes, yes. He diligently took notes and muttered under his breath, cultural difference. His pen paused when Leon spoke again. By the way, the young man tilted his head with irritation. Is there no royal welcoming ceremony here? Meaning, I am hungry. The staff quickly ordered food. You must be starving. You must feel hungry. I will prepare a meal immediately. Leon continued with another demand. And tell me about this world. I need to understand what happened to Earth after I disappeared. The man nervously answered, Yes, I will explain. He became serious. The nightmare began 30 years ago, when the gates opened all over the world. Monsters and demons started to appear. Since then we have been in a constant state of emergency. After many defeats, we realized that each gate had a theme and a mission to complete. And if a gate was not handled, A dungeon break would occur and monsters would invade Earth. The story was interrupted by a knock at the door. It seemed the meal had arrived. After the man left, Leon slowly stroked his chin. Leon noticed a difference between his memories and the information he had just learned. He recalled the Lionheart Kingdom. In his world, demons emerged like mushrooms after rain. In contrast, this place had its own system, with gates having themes and missions. His face darkened slightly, as if it was like forging weapons, tempering humanity through trials. The god would use his hammer to forge upon the earth. At that moment, the door opened. Your Majesty. The association staff eagerly carried a tray. The meal has arrived. A steaming bowl of soup was placed before Leon. His first reaction was shock. This is bones simmered for hours, seasoned with salt, pepper, and a bit of crispy kimchi. When he was a worker on Earth, Seollyeongtang was like a spiritual meal to him. Humans prefer such dishes to fancy ones, but Leon restrained himself, trying not to swallow his saliva. No, no. The killing aura from the young man flared. What is this? The staff replied, it is Seollyeongtang, Your Majesty. The next words further agitated Leon. It is called the spiritual food of peasants. The young man slammed the table. You lowly fool, how dare you sully the noble name of Lionheart? His fury made the man shrink in fear. How dare you serve the royal family peasant food? Is this how your kingdom treats the royalty of another realm? Leon Dragoneel Lionheart, king of another world, emissary of the gods, protector of the Holy Grail, bearer of the sacred sword and spear. The pot of soup overturned in the man's panic. Oh no, it is not. But Leon shouted sternly, get out, you lowly peasant. Every noble title adorned him: Malice, Lord of Chaos, and ruler of the 23 great demons, archenemy of demonkind, the one who slew millions of demons, incarnation of the 300-year war, and finally, a regressor. What he thought upon returning to Earth after 300 years was this: a complete mess. A flame ignited within his heart, all because they lacked true faith. Enlightening these ignorant peasants was the duty of royalty. Though he had returned to Earth, he was still a kingly knight. The familiar dish had been replaced with a luxurious steak. Leon calmly put a bit into his mouth to savor it. Jinsu asked suspiciously, how could you recognize our chicken and black bean noodles? Hari sighed too. Thank God he was eating a T-bone steak and drinking 1993 red wine. Then he folded his arms and suggested, Hari, you go first. The girl was startled to hear that. I do not understand any ancient language. He then gave a reason. But I think he seems a bit more interested in you. He also reassured her. You were praised as a brave person. At least he will not kick you out. Hari denied with difficulty. He only said I was brave. In the end, the girl had to step forward herself. Your Majesty. At first she only dared to peek outside the door. I sincerely apologize for interrupting your meal. Leon gently wiped his mouth and looked over. You are the swordswoman from the other day. He quickly approved, making her very happy. Sit down. She secretly gave a signal to the observer outside. Hari, while sitting at the table, stammered, was the meal delicious, Your Majesty? Leon nodded. Not bad. I can feel the chef's dedication and skill. Leon folded his arms looking displeased. And the reason I made things difficult for you is not because the food was humble, but because of your attitude toward the king. The young man earnestly reminded them, when you welcome royalty from another nation, they should be treated the best. This will affect the safety of your country, right? The woman on this side was about to faint from fear. Please forgive my ignorance. Luckily, he relaxed a bit. All right, it is fine. Anyway, your name is Han something. She nodded. Yes, my name is Han Hari. Leon took the initiative to continue. I have heard stories about this world. His eyes filled with killing intent. The demons, those disgusting creatures, have already appeared on this planet, right? The girl answered nervously. Yes, that is correct. Hari had only one mission. In her heart she reaffirmed her goal, which was to persuade him to join the Hunter Association. Then she cautiously said, at least I need to convince him to join our country. If your Majesty would allow us, the government of South Korea could take care of you from now on. The motif of the intellectual wars of the 21st century revolves around spying on the survivors. No matter how many things you have to promise them, you must prevent them from joining other nations. After hearing her offer, Leon slowly raised his eyes. So, Leon calmly considered, as long as I remain in this world, am I obligated to go to the battlefield? If I am a warrior of honor, indeed I should fight. Hari awkwardly suggested. Then would you like to ally with our hunter association? Leon immediately interrupted. However, the young man firmly declared, a king cannot serve as a soldier in the army of another kingdom. I will create my own order of knights here in this world. That resolute attitude left the girl stunned. The surveillance cameras must have heard everything too. Hari could only nod. After receiving orders from her superiors, she was even more confused. What did they say up there? Jinsu replied, what could they say? They only said to provide as much as possible. It is good that he has not gone to any other country or large guild yet. Hari's mood became gloomy. The association is linked to the government, and yet we still have to lower ourselves to beg him. She was so angry that her whole body burned. It is all because of those bastards in the association who always brag about money and power. He nodded in agreement right away. Now that you mention it, the Phoenix Guild. Before he could explain further, the building's alarm bell died. The room read, Their phones also showed a notification, emergency message. A dungeon has broken out in the Hanam Plains. Jinsu frowned. If a dungeon breaks out at the storage site, those evil elements will destroy all the food supplies. But Hari was puzzled. Isn't the Phoenix Guild where S-rank hunter Li Yanwen is active? There is no way he cannot stop an orange gate. That name made Jinsu grit his teeth. I think those bastards have another plan. We must go and stop it immediately. The conversation accidentally reached Leon's ears. The Phoenix Guild. Those dogs. Leon heard everything clearly down to their breaths and what was said outside the door. It seemed they were in trouble. Then he created several streams of light around his hand. If a dungeon breaks out, the land will be tainted and cannot be cultivated. As expected, this place has none of it. The young man channeled his voice into that power. Are you well? A dazzling ray of light suddenly ignited as he called that deity's name, Demira. The magnificent palace in another realm shone brightly under the rays of light. Looking closer, a mysterious figure was strolling there. She suddenly turned around, revealing a gentle smile on her lips. Everything returned to Korea, where the rice plants were withering away. Dark energy covered the vegetation in a crimson hue. Next to it was the orange gate full of danger. The association group quickly arrived. Hunter Li Yangwen. What is happening here, Li Yangwen? The guild master of the Phoenix Guild sneered. You are from the association. He nonchalantly called out each person's name. Chief Kim and Assistant Han are here too. Jinsu looked at him with hatred. That bastard. He deliberately let the dungeon break out. Yangwen on this side was even pleased. Just because we did not accept his request, he did this. The Phoenix Guild had continuously sent requests for tax exemption on profits from the gates. They had earned a lot of money from the byproducts obtained from the gates, magic stones, and monster materials, and they wanted to be exempted from taxes to gain additional trillions. He thought tensely. They had already earned a lot as a major guild, and yet they dared to do such things just because their request was denied. Hari spoke up for him. Hunter Li Yangwen, we need to close the gate immediately. From today, the time limit is 1 week. If we keep letting it be like this. He immediately interrupted. I know. The auction rights of the gate will be transferred. But Yangwen still shrugged indifferently. But what can I do? My guild members are seriously injured. It will be extremely difficult to clear the dungeon in this condition. Then he deliberately mocked. We will try tomorrow, but who knows what might happen. Anger made her unable to restrain herself and shout. Do you have no patriotism left? You know clearly what will happen if the Hanam Plains become defiled. The answer to that question was his sly laugh. How would I know? Yangwen retorted at her. Why are you so naive, Miss Hari? I already told you about this in last year's work program. The words he once said echoed in their minds. In this world, justice is money and power. At that moment Leon stepped forward. You are quite shallow and outdated. Hari and Jinsu both turned in surprise. Your Majesty, Leon. Leon's expression remained as cold as ever. Do not carelessly speak the name of a king like that. I only permit you to call me by my title, this woman. Yangwen also looked down on him. Who are you? You look like some Westerner. But he immediately cut him off. Shut up. Leon growled like a beast. How dare a lowly being like you open your mouth and say such words to me? His reaction threw the man into confusion. What's wrong with this bastard? He called me one of the world's S-rank hunters and a top 10 guild master. Lowly. He began to summon fire. Do you want to die? Hari beside him hurriedly stopped him. Stop it. Hunter Li Yangwen. Leon's identity was also revealed. He is a survivor. That surprised him quite a bit. A survivor. Yangwen quickly changed his tone. I was rude. I am Li Yangwen of the Phoenix Guild. He then rambled further. Perhaps you come from the Grey Guild. On the other hand, Leon was rather displeased. A king does not speak twice. He temporarily ignored him and asked the other two. Tell me the problem here. I do not know the details of the gate, so explain the general situation clearly. They were immediately overjoyed. He will help. Yes, yes. Hari proactively explained right away. This is a dungeon outbreak. When a dungeon outbreak happens, a large amount of harmful elements will be released and contaminate the land. The grass and rice all collapse due to pollution, and crops cannot grow on tainted soil. The three began walking around to observe. This Hanum Plain is a very important food storage area. Right now, the energy of the demons is harming the land. After understanding the situation quite well, he asked again, the solution. Hari immediately stated, purify them and clear the dungeon as quickly as possible. And we also need to completely eliminate the dungeon. Leon's footsteps suddenly stopped. I understand. A polluted land and the gate outbreak are the problem. Right. An unpleasant sound echoed as he turned to tell her, call the army here. The orange gate was now right before their eyes. Tomorrow, when the time limit for those maggot dungeon raiders ends, this king will personally step in. The girl replied joyfully. Really? The young man suddenly added. However, before that, he seriously stated the rule. A king from another nation cannot participate in any military activities of another country at will. First, I must obtain the approval of this nation's king. The girl gradually felt helpless. I am sorry. No, I think it's fine. But Leon firmly insisted. Everything has its legal and lawful issues. How can you call yourself an honorable warrior if you do not follow the laws of this country? Then Leon directly ordered Yangwen, hurry, send word to your king. His mouth fell open in shock. This bastard is even worse than me. The man on the plane immediately received the call. Finally, they made contact. Yes, I am the president. As time passed, night quickly fell upon the place. Hari stammered as she called him, Your Majesty. You told me to prepare in advance, so I did. In her hand was a straw doll. But how do you intend to use these? He said seriously, Your precious land has been polluted. We must purify it. She was even more surprised. Excuse me. With just these straw dolls, Leon had requested two things, and one of them was this straw doll. The young man did not explain further but looked outside. Those women made the dolls. She quickly nodded. Yes. Inside the house there were many people gathered, and the other condition was that the ones making them must be women who had given birth. Very good, everyone. Show me the dolls you made. That was why a doll-making contest was held right in the middle of this plain. Leon suddenly exclaimed after inspecting one. Impossible. The woman looked confused. What is it? The young man crushed the doll in his hand. This strange body, and you call this a doll? Discard it. The next one was thrown away too. Truly disappointing. Discard it. He threw away another one. Didn't you say you had a child? You foolish thing. She screamed in panic. You, dirt. Hari was also eliminated. Dolls lay scattered all over the floor. After touching countless dolls, discard. The only one who caught Leon's eye was an 80-year-old woman, an elderly lady who had been married. As soon as he saw it, he acknowledged, excellent. The doll was shaped like a young maiden, with delicate and careful stitching. Leon immediately took her hand. How many children have you borne? The old woman cheerfully answered, 12. Leon welcomed her even more warmly, truly a womb that birthed patriots. Then he gently kissed the back of her hand. Usually, I would award medals and gifts. However, given the current situation, I cannot do so. Please forgive me. The most perfect doll was brought outside by him. Leon placed it on a wooden table. Beside it was the soft light of a candle. The young man extended his hand into the air. The conditions are complete. Leon took out a holy chalice from the storage, then gently held it in his hands. O mother of this land. Meanwhile, Yangwen stared in disbelief. The people of this earth offer you a harvest doll. A dazzling light burst forth from the chalice. Please receive it. As it faded away, water began to rise from nowhere. Soon, the cup overflowed with pure holy water. Hari quickly covered her mouth in shock. The cup, it's filling itself with water. The holy water continued to overflow and poured onto the doll. The sun was rising. Its colors blended with the sky. Red rays pierced through the clouds. He closed his eyes and prayed sincerely. A new day longed to begin. Sparkling droplets flew into the air, yet the sunrise today. They gradually formed a gentle stream. The doll absorbed all of that essence. It was a special beginning for this world. Yangwen and his companions were stunned. The water is flowing into the doll. Right now, the doll is standing up on its own. A gentle voice like flowing water softly resounded, Lionheart, my child. He respectfully bowed before the deity. I greet you, Earth Mother. Leon spoke her name, Demira, goddess of life and abundance. She gracefully replied, It has been some time, hasn't it? A god had descended upon this land. He spoke to her with a respectful attitude. Greetings to the great Earth Mother, Demira, goddess of life and abundance. She quickly understood that this territory too was being invaded by evil. The land was polluted. Leon slowly looked up. Yes, there still exist vile entities here, and there is no god in this place. Leon intentionally aimed his words at Yangwen. Therefore I fear that these lowly and violent fools will sully your sight. Demira gently reassured him. Ignorance and greed are not always counted as sins. They are traits inherent in the nature of mortals. She curiously asked him, So what do you intend to do now? The young man softly closed his eyes. Blending among swordsmen is not difficult. The power of the conqueror is sacred beyond measure. Leon placed a hand upon his chest to express his resolve. I shall ensure that duty and power can coexist here. I will correct these foolish ones and guide them onto the righteous path. The doll became more radiant at those words. Only then could a sanctuary be erected upon this earth. Demira extended her fabric arm. My child, do you have no blessing you wish me to grant? It seemed to be her very own hand. We are always willing. She herself stood close beside Leon listening. Mother Demira, the free citizens of this earth are suffering because of a dark source of energy. I am sure this is not what you wish to bring, but please heal and purify this land. She then pointed toward him. He is my ray of sunlight, our champion. A glistening drop of water began to fall. The lands of this world do not belong to my body. I shall spread my divinity here and quench the thirst of this soil with my own flesh and blood. It radiated a soft light as it fell below. Thus all beings that walk upon this earth shall become your allies. The drop touched the ground and sank into it. Immediately, a blinding column of light shot upward from that spot. It shone upon every leaf, making them fresh as before. That miraculous phenomenon appeared right before the hunter's eyes. Leon spoke loudly to them. Watch and learn. You fools cannot learn and cannot know. The entire plain now gleamed golden with ripened rice. This is a world blessed by divinity. The grains were heavy and golden, bending the stalks, breeding and multiplying. In their eyes the scene glittered like starlight. This is the rightful duty of a living being. Leon stood in the middle of the field to declare, This fertile land is the proof of an eternal promise. The clear sky blended harmoniously with the golden fields. Yangwen clenched a stalk in his hand and groaned with difficulty. He stubbornly opposed, Everyone, do not be deceived. Those crops are grown with magic and are extremely poisonous. He tried hard to persuade them. I am sure that is what you all already know. Leon frowned, truly an arrogant brat. These crops are blessed by the gods. How dare you call them poison? Yongwen's face turned pale, that stupid straw doll. A sharp gaze cut through his words. I can forgive ignorance only this once. Do not defile the goddess's name with that filthy mouth of yours. That threat silenced him completely. Yongwen bitterly thought, damn it, this cannot be happening. My plan is about to collapse because of him. Then he smirked quietly. I cannot let that happen. I will expose your ridiculous lies. Thinking so, Yongwen approached Leon. We still need evidence. I hope you will cooperate for the sake of those who will consume this. I will trap you as a fraud. He personally invited a member from the guild. I will provide an appraiser. The man carefully put on his gloves. Then, I shall begin. Energy spread from him across the land to conduct the appraisal. After a while, his expression began to change. Sweat dripped continuously down his cheeks. This is an item called rice blessed by the gods. Its grade is rare. The appraiser hurriedly reported the data. All of this rice is of rare grade, and it can even cure level 3 diseases, even cancer. Hari, astonished, held up a stalk of rice. Really? Leon calmly waited for the result. Yes, really. Jinsu suddenly came up with an idea. Someone, go get a pot from the minister's house. Time passed peacefully under the blessing's light. A clay pot was placed in the middle of the rice field to cook the rice. After eating it, Jinsu was even more shocked. Impossible. The system reported back massive stats. This is equivalent to a booster vial. He continued eating. How could plain white rice be worth as much as a 3 million booster vial? Hari hurriedly ran up behind him. Chief. She quickly reported. Chief, there's more news. Jinsu reminded her first. Finish chewing before you speak. The girl obediently nodded and swallowed the food in her mouth. Then she cheerfully explained. Earlier I got a bit curious, and I ate a bug. His face showed clear horror. Ate a bug. But what she said next was even more shocking. And I got a buff. Jinsu exclaimed in surprise. What? Jinsu reflected to himself. If the land has truly been blessed, free boosters, then it is not strange that every living creature would also receive that same blessing. So they all rushed straight into the field at once. Catch as many as possible. We will enter the gate fully buffed for the day. The motivation of the Hunter Association rose sharply. At that moment Demira suddenly spoke. My child? And he immediately replied. Yes, Goddess Demira. She informed Leon. It seems I have finished what I needed to do here. It is time for me to return. The young man knelt down to bid her farewell. I am, and will never forget the sacred love you have given us. Her warm hand reached out. My child, allow me to leave you with one last lesson. Demira kindly advised him. Remember to eat until you are full. Then the doll slowly tilted down as she departed. A small puff of dust rose from the table because of its movement. Hari noticed them. Your Majesty, what is it? But Leon suddenly spoke first. The power of divinity. Leon wondered, is there truly no God reigning in this world? That question made her hesitate. I am not sure. He sternly admonished her. A fulfilled life and a world are built by divine power. You people of Earth should remember that well. Leon's next target was the gate ahead. When the warriors are full, we will enter the gate. Yongsu on this side worriedly asked, Guild Master, is that really okay? At this rate our plan will inevitably run into trouble. His face twisted unpleasantly. That damn bastard. Damn it. Where the hell did he crawl out from? Hatred burned into Leon's back. If not for him the government would have had no choice but to comply with our demands. I wish he would just die inside that gate already. After cursing him, Yongwen paused for a moment. A sly grin then spread across his face. That might not be such a bad idea. Yongsu asked in confusion, Guild Master. He reassured him. Do not worry about Leon. Yongwen repeated the secret information. This gate has already been partially explored. The man hesitantly replied, yes, but the middle section is a bit difficult. But, very quickly Yongsu understood what he was implying. He exclaimed, there is only one rank at Hanhani, which made Yongwen even more pleased. That survivor must have a blessing or buffing class. I bet that one is useless in battle. Yongwen's mind grew more and more twisted, which means they will surely fail. The strange creature had glowing eyes. Inside the gate was a monster. It rode a mount and charged like a knight, impossible to defeat by ordinary means. There was also a bloodthirsty army and a dungeon outbreak warning sign. The hazy mist covered the cave, so the atmosphere was very gloomy. The footsteps of the hunters also became more cautious because of that. Jinsu stood at the front line, and behind him was Leon, who also joined the expedition. He calmly spoke to them, saying that most of the gates would close if they completed the mission or defeated the boss. Then the young man muttered, "A one-on-one fight with the boss, I like that." The smile on Hari's lips was somewhat stiff. She could not tell him that usually they would lift the whole party up to fight together. While walking, Leon carefully observed the things along the way. He asked curiously, "They told me that they had tried to conquer this dungeon before, but there are more monsters here than I thought." "Right," she quickly replied, "that is the special feature of this dungeon," he said in surprise. "A special feature?" Hari immediately took out a level chart. "Yes, usually the number of monsters decreases after defeating them. Most gates are like that. But skeletons or zombies, or demons in some special cases, if the boss is still alive, they will be resurrected endlessly." Leon seriously crossed his arms. "Interesting. So everything will only end if we defeat the boss. I understand." Leon continued to speculate. "So, this must be the case you mentioned, right?" She nodded. "Yes, most likely. It seems that there is a necromancer behind manipulating these skeletons." She was about to explain further when a system notice interrupted. "I think." It clearly stated that a dungeon explosion had begun, with a countdown of exactly 3 hours remaining. The space immediately suffered tremors and shrill screams. Jinsu braced himself to support Li Yanwen. "That bastard. He should have warned us about things like this earlier." Leon and Hari also turned their eyes toward the source of the tremor. A strange creature appeared, carrying a blue flame from hell. Accompanying that dark knight was a mighty legion. Defeat the commanding knight, Dullahan. Remaining time 2 hours and 58 minutes. The skeletons had glowing eyes and rusted weapons. The group of hunters began to panic. "There are too many of them. Sir, should we reassign positions?" Jinsu tensely directed them. "Focus on transferring them to higher-ranked members to handle." He shouted loudly, "Mashik, how many archers and mages are there?" The other one responded while raising his bow. "Currently I see 30 archers and 2 mages." The command was quickly issued by him. "Those with archery skills, handle the monsters with long-range attacks first. Anyone with shields, block them. Do not let them advance." Jinsu shouted with all his strength before the oncoming wave of attacks. "Good luck, you bastards." The skeleton soldiers aggressively swung their swords. It came down in one strike and was blocked by Jinsu. The strength of it made him falter a bit. "They are stronger than I thought. I guess orange gates really are different." Jinsu quickly swung his large hammer, however. After that he struck the monster hard. "They are not beyond the power of a rank B tanker like me." Suddenly a beam of light shone from behind, distracting him. 2 mages were now casting spells. "Damn it, I cannot believe these skeletons can use high-level magic." He was forced to call out, "I need to draw their attention. Over here, this way." The mage skeleton was sensitive to sound and noticed him. It immediately controlled magic and threw it toward them. "Sir?" Jinsu reassured the team, "I am fine. Just a little sting. You all should know this gear costs quite a lot of money." The Dark Knight suddenly glided past him, silencing him. Jinsu clenched his teeth and felt pressured by that thing. The Dark Knight began to swing its sword, Dullahan. The first strike came unexpectedly before he could react. The overwhelming power easily blew him far away. Jinsu coughed heavily. His weapon fell from his hand. Hari hurriedly looked toward him. "Chief Kim." The mage in the team urged, "We need to save him." Assistant Han, "Should we call the rescue squad for help?" She immediately thought of that solution. "This is why there is a backup team. We need to help them now. The tankers are being overwhelmed by the knight. How can he swing that greatsword so fast? Stop him." Hari quickly sought help from Leon. "He is the king of Lionheart, the one who defeated the great demon, sir." She earnestly pleaded, "Please help us." After those words, he continued to stare without reacting. Then Leon bluntly refused. "A king never fights such a small battle," she exclaimed in surprise. "Huh, what do you mean?" Hari broke into a sweat as Leon criticized her. "Learn to keep some dignity." The young man frowned in annoyance. "I cannot believe you are trying to make me fight those damn walking bones. That would also be disrespectful to the goddess. I cannot stand it." The girl trembled all over. "What is he even saying?" The mage in the team worriedly asked. "Assistant, what should we do now?" The urgency forced her to think again. "I cannot waste more time. This man has no intention of helping." She quickly analyzed the situation. "He does not seem interested in anything except Dullahan. We need to stop Dullahan first." Then Hari actively drew her sword. "I will take care of the boss. Everyone else please support Chief Kim and the allied teams." The girl dashed forward at a speed as fast as the wind, along with a shining blade. She ignored all the skeletons and aimed straight at Dullahan. Hari used the heads of skeletons as footholds. Then she gathered strength into her sword and spun her body to deliver a slash. A loud clash echoed along with a strong gust of wind. She realized her weapon only struck the massive blade. She clicked her tongue and looked down attentively. He blocked it. Because of that, Dullahan had already closed in on her. By any means she must separate it from its crown. The boss suddenly threw away its own head, surprising Hari. Dullahan clenched its fist. "It threw its head away to block my sight. What kind of undead fights like that?" Knowing it was about to attack, the girl quickly readjusted her stance. Dullahan's punch immediately knocked her to the ground. Hari struggled to regain her balance. Thank heaven. She had just sighed in relief when her senses warned her again. Dullahan was now charging furiously. "I have successfully separated it from those monsters." A hot flame began to rise. "Sorry." Hari channeled more magic into this strike. "It is just that my skill's range is a bit wide." The skeleton soldiers took the full blow and screamed miserably as they burned. The smoke also caused Dullahan to swing its sword wildly. "I hit it." The girl seized the moment and strengthened her resolve. This move might be able to finish it. With the accumulated power, Hari darted toward the target skillfully, but she collided with a very hard surface midway. Dullahan once again surprised her. It blocked that attack with the surface of the greatsword. Then Hari noticed something else, that stance. The greatsword immediately swung down when the opponent slowed for a beat. The girl could not dodge and just closed her eyes tightly. But that did not happen when Leon spoke. "Impressive." He clapped his hands and praised it. "This swordsmanship is excellent even with only one hand. I am sure you were once a noble knight." He even said seriously, "Forgive me for mistaking a great knight like you for a mere undead." Hari looked at Leon blankly. "Nameless knight, I, the king of Lionheart, grant you the right to challenge me." After the declaration he walked forward. "There is no need for more soldiers to be injured." The young man firmly declared, "Let us end this battle with a duel between two knights." The team members all sweated in shock. He challenged the boss to a duel. Dullahan remained silent as if thinking, there is no way that will. But it quickly nodded in agreement. It accepted. The skull demons with their glowing eyes were peering around, searching. Their bony feet moved slowly and cautiously forward. Amidst the battlefield shrouded in thick smoke, Leon stood with his arms crossed, calmly looking at the crowd, then slowly spoke, the great knight. "Relax a little. I recall that your swordsmanship is dual-bladed, is it not? It does not suit fighting with a one-handed weapon like this." At that moment, Hari's stammering voice rang out. "Your Majesty," Leon, holding the flaming sword, replied. "What is it?" Her face suddenly turned pale in fear as beads of sweat ran down her cheeks. She spoke slowly. That Dullahan, he will not be destroyed unless you cut off his head." Leon replied calmly. "Is that so? Does it matter?" Hearing his indifferent answer made Hari's face darken. She spoke firmly. "Of course it matters. How could he defeat Dullahan without taking him down?" Leon tilted his head, frowning slightly as he reassured her. "That is not so important. What determines victory is the honor of a knight." Amidst the battlefield thick with smoke, Leon stood facing the demon. the air filled with tension. With sharp eyes and a gleaming sword in hand, he spoke firmly, "In the name of the first knight, captain of the goddess of light and justice, I, Grand Duke Dragonia, and also the king, Lionheart." The knight Dullahan, in his fierce form, burned with a powerful fighting spirit. Leon spoke again, "I shall grant the honorable knight a duel." At that moment, Dullahan violently spun his energy, throwing the battlefield into chaos, while Leon stood calm and composed. He repeatedly lunged forward, kicking up dust and sand, creating a haze of tension. With the golden light radiating from Dullahan's body, everything around became turbulent. Leon calmly raised his arm, his sharp eyes fixed on him. He used his keen blade to block Dullahan's wild assault. His hand moved swiftly, defending against the giant sword in Dullahan's grasp. Soon after, Leon skillfully defeated him with a single long sword, then lifted the blade and tapped it lightly against his chest. Leon's sharp eyes and cold voice rang out, "One life." He lifted the sword, pointing it at Dullahan's dimly glowing face like a warning. Enraged, Dullahan began attacking wildly, the battlefield erupting into chaos. He gripped his massive sword tightly, raised it high, and swung it down at Leon with all his strength. Then, with immense force, Dullahan slashed horizontally toward Leon's head. On the other side, Hari and Jinsu widened their eyes in shock. She thought, "If he blocks like that," she screamed, "Your Majesty." Leon's cold gaze met his opponent's as he said calmly, "Your footwork has weakened." With that, he struck back with fierce energy, sending stones and dust flying. Jinsu shouted in disbelief, "What happened? Did you see that?" Pugo trembled. "Did he just attack?" In contrast, Hari's cheeks flushed as she watched Leon's powerful movement. "Amazing," she whispered. Jinsu asked curiously, "Did you see that?" Hari, the first to realize what had happened, gasped. He changed the balance of the sword's path by twisting the blade at the exact moment of the strike, and even delivered a horizontal slash right after. No one else would dare to do that. Even Dullahan was stunned after witnessing Leon's technique. Leon placed his sword on Dullahan's body. His cold voice declared, "Second life. Return to stance." Even Hari had to admit, he could do it because he was simply too overwhelming. It had been some time since Leon defeated a knight in a true duel of honor. Perhaps it was a trick to overcome a crisis. Knights would think so when receiving a challenge to dismount. That was an early thought. Look at that knight Leon, standing proud, with eyes that have seen countless battles. Like a star pursuing honor and excellence, Leon spoke in a deep tone, "I will try that sword strike now." At once, he unleashed a powerful and dignified strike filled with energy. With decisive strength, he cut down Dullahan's body with fearless majesty. Striking his sword hard against Dullahan's chest, his voice carried a calm reminder, "Third life." Dullahan was stunned by the battle Leon painted. Leon had reached the peak of knighthood. He lifted his sharp sword and asked, "Do you wish to continue, O King of Knights, worthy of respect and challenge?" Leon did not wish to use his summoning power. He wanted to fight this man as a knight should, properly, along the path of knighthood. No summoning spells, only Leon's sword against Dullahan, as he had once fought many famous knights. Wandering across the world with the honor of a knight, Leon had almost forgotten everything else. Amid the tension of battle, standing tall, his deep voice echoed, "10th life. Your sword grows more precise. Have you remembered your former path?" Dullahan roared in pain, "O great knight." Leon had brought him back to his past glory. Leon asked softly, "Do you wish to continue, knight?" As the battle tensed again, the skulls behind slowly advanced. Their hollow eyes glowed blue, and their twisted mouths grinned eerily, holding a single head in their hands. He took the head, seemingly preparing for a powerful onslaught. He had begun his brutal massacre long ago. How long had Dullahan fought, losing his pride? If this cursed journey could end like this, he would be satisfied. Leon smiled slightly, "Excellent. I am glad to see you reclaim your honor. I shall pray for you. If you ever believed in a god, I pray that God grants your soul peace. If not, I pray the goddess guides you to the end of heaven." Great knight, I hope one day we shall meet again, at the banquet of the gods. Let this place shine with light." He lifted his mask, and a radiant glow spread around. His iron armor turned to mist and smoke in sorrow. Beneath the half-darkened mask, his fading face left glory to Leon Dragonia Lionheart. After the clash in the dark night, the sky turned clear. Everyone nearby checked their equipment carefully. Hari, exhausted, spoke softly. He kept his promise. Jinsu replied, he truly ended it, in a duel. But what was that light? It seemed he said, "Let this place shine with light." Could that be what he called holy power? Perhaps that was why the undead vanished right after. She nodded. Yes, he should have used that technique earlier. Leon then said, "If I had, the great knight would have faced a summoner, not a knight." Hari nodded. "Yes, your majesty. A knight lives bound by two words, honor. Honor comes from action, and action from will." Dullahan received what he deserved, as a noble knight. Leon proudly turned away. "Now then, I shall claim my spoils of war." Hari blinked. He casually explained, "Wherever there is battle, there is loot." Soon after, they gaped in astonishment at the large gem and sword lying on the ground. Jinsu exclaimed, "Wow, look, it seems to hold a lot of mana." She added, "Dullahan's great armor and cloak are here too." The gem, overflowing with mana, glowed with a violet hue that filled the space. Leon frowned slightly, deep in thought. Around him, people murmured, "If we sell this, it would fetch a lot." But Leon cut them off with a mocking tone, "Trash." And so, Leon shattered Dullahan's mana crystal with force. Those around him froze in shock at the sound. With cold eyes and a sharp gaze, Leon muttered, "Such things only bring misfortune." Then, the system voice rang out, signaling that Leon's mission had been completed and the reward obtained as required. Hari pretended to be tired and sighed. Suddenly she realized that Leon had returned to Earth for 4 days already. During this short period, many things had happened. She was exhausted. There had even been a small disturbance about the issue of taxes. Leon frowned and said, "What? I am a king, and yet I have to pay taxes to the king of another nation. Don't mention that cheap silver coin again. It is not worthy of a king like me to discuss," she replied, "because taxes are—" Before Hari could finish, she was cut off. "Stop talking about money. I am losing my mood. The matter of accepting believers to build the holy temple is also an issue." A bald old man whispered, "Then how shall we provide the products?" Leon answered, 90%, provide that amount of product as an offering. I am already being merciful enough." Hearing that, the old man was stunned. Just taxes and living costs are already heavy, so if they have to pay 90% of their products. Leon said bluntly, "The followers of the goddess do not need to worry about lacking food or clothing. All living benefits and everything else will be handled by our association." Hari held out a paper and said, "Please remember the results brought by the goddess's blessing on the rice plants. Wasn't it wonderful?" Everyone was shocked. The two of them shouted as if struck by lightning. 80 kilograms of rice per sack is 150 million won. One sack already costs that much. If so, even if we hand over most of the products, we will still profit greatly. We trust you. But the biggest problem lies in Leon. Leon walked inside yelling wildly, "Is this a battlefield or what? How come there are no artworks hanging by the bedside of a king like me?" Not only did he want a luxurious and high-class bed, he also wanted attendants to serve by his side, and artworks by the bed. She stammered, "That—" Hari anxiously answered the phone. "Hello, sorry for being this late." In the end, Hari had to wander around 5-star hotels until 2 in the morning to rent a room that suited his taste. She waited pleadingly, "Your Majesty, please go to sleep." Finally, he agreed to the room decorated with paintings and pottery placed around. "For now, that is fine, Your Majesty." "My lord, Hari has arrived. Come in." She pushed the cart in and asked, "Are you doing well?" Leon calmly said, "Is there anything?" Hari whispered, "This is heavenly cuisine. Please enjoy." He asked, "Have you had breakfast?" She replied, "Not yet." Leon sternly said, "At least you should bring some food for yourself. Do not starve." Beads of sweat rolled down her cheek. "Yes." The dishes laid out on the table looked delicious. Hari stared hungrily. It looks so good. Next time I should bring a sandwich with me. Leon calmly invited her to sit. Sit down. She joyfully thought, Your Majesty, could it be? He intends to share with me. Hari boldly sat down cheerfully, but Leon spoke up. What are you doing? She looked surprised. He said, I was going to tell you to cut the ribs for me. She shyly said, I thought you were sharing with me. Leon coldly declared, How could a king like me be humble toward a servant like you? Outside, a black car drove up to the building. Inside, frantic voices said, The Hunters Association has decided to provide housing for your Majesty. Although it is not a majestic royal palace, it is still very luxurious. Leon muttered, This is something to take seriously, for someone of my status cannot be seen in disgrace. Hari asked, Your Majesty, about the distribution of the spoils. He frowned. I already ordered you to handle that, didn't I? But do not touch that cloak. I rather like it. We've arrived, Your Majesty. She happily introduced. This place is very close to the Hunters Association. The rooftop even has a helipad, so in emergencies we can use it to travel here. How do you feel about the atmosphere here? Leon thought, what are these strange things anyway? Inside everything was neat and clean. A man walked up. Ah, you are Assistant Hari from the Hunters Association, right? Hari was puzzled. This trip is supposed to be secret. Who are you? Zhang Chan said. Just happened to be here. I am Zhang Chan, director of Dujung Murray Foods under the Dujung Group. On the outside Hari looked fine, but inside she was nervous. Dujung Group. The Dujung conglomerate is one of the 3 largest keyballs in Korea, and now he pretends to meet by coincidence waiting here. He gave a strange smile. Seeing Leon, he said, This must be the survivor who has been famous lately. She whispered, I knew it. Zhang Chan's grin grew more twisted. Nice to meet you, Leon. He reached out for a handshake. Leon angrily said, Just a merchant, and dares to shake hands with me. This is where the association will serve your Majesty for 1 year. Hari read from the list. The association will handle all management and rental costs, so you need not worry. Also, there are room and cleaning services covered by the management fees, so I think you can use them. Phew, what a relief. Survivor information is top secret. Who knows what Zhang Chan's intentions are? Good thing Leon ignored him. But why did that man come here to meet the king? Leon replied, That merchant came here, probably for profit. She asked, Profit? Because of the rice blessed by the goddess, right? At that time, the situation was urgent, so information control could not be properly enforced. Taking advantage of that, many broadcast and internet stations filmed the place. Our association already strongly advised them to delete the video. Hari suddenly turned pale. Oh, someone uploaded it again. Mr. Park, again. Damn it. Zhang Chan growled, That arrogant bastard. He said, Are we sure those rice plants actually work? The man quickly answered, Yes, absolutely. Zhang Chan said, We have not even done clinical trials yet. The tests on mice succeeded. But are we sure it works on humans? The man hesitated. Well, the secretary said, Director, I have met the owner of that field to secure the maximum amount of seeds. But there, I saw a dead dog come back to life, and someone cured of chronic rhinitis. Also the villagers who ate that rice were cured of all minor and major illnesses. We have no clinical data, but we think it is proven. He laughed wickedly. So that is how it is. But still crazy, that guy dared to treat a world-class CEO like me so arrogantly. The secretary said, Director, this must succeed. The power of that rice strain is limitless. Zhang Chan said, I know, that is why I must meet him again. He slammed the table hard. Unbelievable, that in Korea there are still people who look down on a successful businessman. Just because of a few grains of rice he acts big. You picked the wrong opponent, you savage survivor. You are no different from the other survivors, always behind civilization, yet foolishly believing that the world you live in is the most advanced. Prepare for culture shock. Go, you ignorant fool. Returning to Earth, Leon had set 3 goals. First, to spread faith in the gods. On Earth there were many gods and believers, but what truly mattered, divine power, did not exist. A god was supposed to be worshipped and grant blessings to the world. Yet instead, people still suffered from diseases, and the land grew ever more polluted. Therefore, in order to use divine power, new faith must be created, and thus more people must come to believe in the new god. Second, to train the Holy Temple Knights. In this world there existed no warrior organization that used divine power. If the guardian of the Holy Grail, the King of Lionheart, was regarded as a demigod, then the Temple Knights were saints. They were knights of the gods, wielders of divine power, bringers of fear to demons. And finally, to slaughter every demon rampaging across this land, restore divine power, and nurture the Holy Temple Knights. At this moment Leon stood by the window deep in thought. Faith must be spread, balance and order within the pantheon must be maintained, and the Holy Temple Knights nurtured. Perhaps expecting Temple Knights to appear in a place like this was too much. But that did not concern him. He only needed to fulfill his own duty. Suddenly a voice interrupted his thoughts. "Your Majesty," Hari announced, "someone requests an audience with you." He replied, "If they have gone through the necessary procedures, then there is no reason not to hear them." Soon after, Zhang Chan's group entered Leon's room. He began, "Thank you for granting us this audience, Your Majesty." Leon sat still, one leg crossed, coldly observing. His deep eyes carried thoughts of the future. Zhang Chan thought to himself, "Yes, for the sake of business interests, I can bow my head to this foolish madman." He continued aloud, "And this time I have also brought a small gift." Immediately his bodyguard pulled out a white suitcase. He respectfully said, "Please accept this," though inwardly thinking differently. "You will be shocked when you see what it is. A top luxury item that even in your dreams a lunatic like you could never see. Once you try it, you will never go back. I will make you beg me to become your manager." Leon spoke. "Very well, you have gone to great trouble for this. I shall accept it." Zhang Chan was surprised by the answer. "Accept? What kind of attitude is that? Accepting like he's granting me a blessing." Outwardly he smiled brightly. "Why don't you see what it is? I am sure you will like it." Leon pointed and said to Hari, "I don't want to waste my breath teaching him manners. Han Hari, open it." She obeyed. "Yes, Your Majesty." Hari stepped closer to the suitcase, slowly raising her hand. With just one touch, the structure shifted and emitted a loud sound. Thick smoke rose from the suitcase, making her instinctively step back. Hari's face showed confusion and surprise. "This is..." Zhang Chan frowned, his face turning grim, then forced a flattering smile. "These are our finest weapons, the pride of our corporation. I wish for you to choose whichever pleases you most." She admired them. All of these were crafted by Duzheng's master craftsmen. Zhang Chan replied proudly, "Yes, they are all special class items, the finest of the fine. I heard that from now on you will act as a hunter. These will aid you greatly." Hari thought, he's giving away Duzheng's special class weapons just like that. These top weapons, impossible to buy even with money. I only ever saw them in YouTube videos back in school. But unfortunately, Leon grew angry. What could I possibly do with such low-grade weapons? Hearing that, Zhang Chan panicked. "Low grade?" She was startled. "Your Majesty, you called them low grade." He explained, "How can a fine sword be without the aura of the stars or divine blessings? Do you only use weapons to hunt monsters or what?" Zhang Chan sweated nervously thinking, "What the hell is he talking about? Does he want me to hang the sword in the sun like drying chili peppers, and then pray to it?" Leon scolded, "You harbor the disloyalty of a merchant." The man hurried to explain, "You misunderstand." Leon said disdainfully, "Fine, a merchant showing off his goods everywhere is only natural. These can only kill chickens and cows, but I will try." Leon opened his private space. The sight stunned Zhang Chan. "What?" He drew an ancient sword from thin air. "Is that all? Does he look down on my weapons that much, that crazy bastard?" He spoke mockingly, "I wish to see the power of your sword, Your Majesty." Zhang Chan turned to her, "Secretary Han Hari." She startled. "Yes." He suggested, "Would you like to try one of these weapons?" Hari pointed at herself. "Me?" She looked to Leon for permission. He merely closed his eyes indifferently, unconcerned. Not seeing any sign from him, She curiously stepped forward. Then, Hari grasped the sword tightly. Her heart thrilled. The sword she had admired for 4 years. The sword of the master craftsman Park Jinchyo. Dawn. She could feel its power, truly as if it had absorbed the condensed sunlight of a special gate for 10 days. She hesitated. Can I really use this? Leon replied. You need permission just to swing a toy. Zhang Chan cursed silently. That bastard. Hari shyly held the sword's hilt, unable to speak. Then, her eyes shone brightly, unable to hide her old desire. She skillfully raised the sword with vigor. Hari swung downward, declaring, Here I come. But the blade shattered instantly in her hands. Her face froze in shock, not understanding what had happened. Zhang Chan's face turned pale with fear. It was Leon's sword that had sliced the weapon in Hari's hands. Leon scoffed. Even worse than I thought. What a waste of time. I will shorten this audience. You have 3 minutes. Zhang Chan trembled, unable to speak, screaming inside. Dawn broke. The strongest weapon of Duzheng shattered. Impossible. Forcing out words, then, The clock ticked and time ran out. He and his bodyguard bowed deeply. I wish to request the rice patent rights. Leon looked up coldly. What? He hastily added, Of course we will pay. By our calculations it is worth about 180 billion won. While thinking, its true value is much higher. No way rice that can cure cancer is worth only that. But no way this lunatic knows what 180 billion means. He'll lose his mind when I explain how much that is. Leon sneered. You wish to buy rice with money. Zhang Chan rejoiced inwardly. This is it. He rubbed his hands, explaining, Of course, sign a contract granting Duzheng Group exclusive rice rights. I can even raise the price if you wish. Leon interrupted disdainfully. Foolish merchant, you dare insult the gods. Leon's fury roared like a lion. King of the plains. King. Leon was furious, his eyes cold. Those foolish merchants dared to insult the gods, huh? Hearing those murderous words, Zhang Chan and his group immediately stiffened and trembled. His face turned pale as sweat streamed down without stopping. When facing him, Zhang Chan felt as if facing a wild beast, his heart filled with anxiety. I am dead. Leon uttered each word. Fool, do you realize your sin yet? Immediately he knelt flat on the ground, his heart trembling. Zhang Chan was terrified, stammering, I really do not know what I did wrong. He waved his hand in disgust. Can you be so ignorant and dull? That product is the result born from the land blessed by Demara. It is a good blessing for the farmers who sweat and plow the fields. It is not something that can be bought with thousands of gold, but a gift given for gratitude and faith accordingly. You, the despicable ones who chase shallow profits while deceiving others, I ask you. He immediately turned pale, his heart full of unease and discomfort. Zhang Chan clenched his fist, listening to Leon. How can you gain benefit from the divine produce when you have no faith? After a while, he stood turning his back to look outside when Hari asked, About that, is it all right to let Director Park Zhang Chan go like that? From your Majesty's perspective, even if they are dishonest merchants, they are still people with considerable influence. Leon was indifferent, not worth caring. That alone is not enough to shake those merchants. Anyway, is what I asked you to prepare done yet? She replied, I have contacted the union, but this time your Majesty also conducts the inspection right, according to procedure. The measurement work will go smoother. He got angry. What nonsense are you spouting? You said those lowly ones will inspect King Lionheart. Hearing that, Hari was confused. Then why do you want to go there? Leon crossed his arms, explaining, I must select capable free soldiers. I will inspect them, Hari advised. That is by procedure. He cut her off, making her cry. Even if impossible, it must be done. In another tall building, Pio's voice sounded. Gu, you also came this year, huh? Di Gong heard it and smiled brightly with excitement. He waved his hand. Gu, you came to have your rank reevaluated, huh? After that, the two entered the hall to fill in information. Pio curiously asked, Gu, you really are diligent. How is it this year? Probably will be promoted, huh? He replied awkwardly, just have to work harder. The man advised, don't say that. Why not join our team? Di Gong pondered. Those without talent get C rank, and I have been D for 10 years. Pio praised, someone like Gu must be honest and quietly do good work. Soon we'll become the ace. Well, mining team isn't bad either. He agreed, that's right. I have been taking the test for 10 years. Even so, I still want to try a bit more, Di Gong determined silently. If not for conquering dungeons with high life rewards, paying interest is tight, and there is family to care for. I cannot give up. No matter what, I must reach C rank to escape the life of a porter. Pio was surprised. A foreigner, huh? He was also curious. European, maybe, the man remarked. Not a foreign laborer, huh? Looks like royalty. They talked about Leon. Pio stepped up to call, attracting his attention. Hey young man. How are you? He greeted in English tone. Contrary to Pio's friendliness, Leon was icy cold. Do not dare purposely talk to me, commoner. Both Di Gong and the man froze at that attitude. Pio tried to cover. He must have learned Korean strangely right. He agreed, yes. Seeing Leon's cold and fierce face and oppressive aura, Di Gong's expression reacted naturally in fear. His eyes carried no warmth, making anyone who looked tremble. Pio saw him shaking all over. The man asked with concern, Gu, what's wrong? Are you hurt? Pio worried. But now Di Gong could not hear clearly, only felt uneasy. What is this? Can't breathe. Like something is pressing down, something enormous. Suddenly the staff called, Gu Di Gong number 57. Please come to interview room number 2. He came to his senses. Yes, I'm coming. Meanwhile Leon looked at him and snorted softly. Di Gong worried. Only one person, huh? He stood from afar looking with disgust. I did not come to seek strong ones, yet none are worthy to be knights. All the same, before those who came to test were low-level hunters for ages. Now only fools coming for awakening tests. A voice announced, Number 77, Leon Dragonia Lionheart. Please come to interview room number 9. He was annoyed. From the start the situation was already unsatisfactory. At the office outside marked number 9, that was where Leon entered. He stepped into the test area where someone waited. The staff said, Mr. Leon Dragonia Lionheart. Leon interrupted, Commoner, address me as Your Majesty. The man, frightened, obeyed. Your Majesty. Then please place your hand on the measurement orb here to check. Leon's expression was terrible, dark and gloomy. His eyes carried displeasure when looking at the orb. Leon let out a soft snort to ease the disgust. On the computer screen was Leon's personal information. He spoke harshly, making the staff stunned. Fool. How dare a commoner test the honor of a knight? The man explained. The measurement is not done by us, but by a magic device. Leon shouted. You say such a machine can measure a knight's power? Only honorable knights and gods can judge knights. The staff confused. Then why come here? He explained. I came to recruit talented soldiers, but even the examiners are such ordinary people. They were shocked. Recruiting so blatantly, huh? Leon asked. All this time I have not seen anyone satisfactory. What is the next test? They replied. It is the practical test at the gate. He calmly said, Good, strength naturally appears in regular training and real battles. I will observe. The staff corrected silently. Not observe but participate. Outside in the field, the instructor asked with concern. Everyone not feeling dizzy, right? When passing the gate some will feel faint. Normally cleared gates are closed and erased, but some dungeons are kept for profit. This Seoul Station gate is one of them, Di Gong thought. This year's measurement not much different from last year. To reverse the evaluation I must be active in this practical test. Suddenly behind came Jin Mai's voice. So this is Heaven Gate, huh? Brother, this place is a total hot place, he muttered. Jin Mai, first turn off your phone. Di Gong's face sank for a long time. 2 new ones, huh? An old man laughed loudly. What a great atmosphere, he assessed. An old man over 60, D rank or C rank maybe. And he glanced back cautiously. Di Gong noticed Leon, the foreign laborer he met in the waiting room earlier. Taking the promotion test at that age means a rookie. Except the old man, the rest are all rookies, huh? Is it fine? Behind, he slowly removed his glasses and smiled faintly. A voice suggested, let us confirm our positions together. Di Xiong spoke first. Gu Di Xiong. This year marks 10 years of being a hunter, occupation warrior, main role dealer. Ti Hun holding a shield continued. Shin Ti Hun, awakened this year, uses spear and shield. Na Yon excitedly interrupted him. I am his sister, Sin Na Yon. I use short swords, recently learning to use bows. Di Xiong quietly evaluated them. More rookies who do not know their limits. He frowned and asked, have you two ever studied anywhere before? Ti Hun proudly replied, my sister and I have been to the academy for 3 months. Hearing that he broke into a sweat. Rookies. Di Xiong turned to ask Kang Ti, what about you, old man? He stammered, I am Kang Ti with 5 years of experience. Weapon is gauntlets, though awakened but busy working, just retired recently. He quietly assessed him, too little experience for his age, and the weapon is gauntlets, cannot compare with spears and swords. Di Xiong scratched his head and looked at Leon, the last one, foreign laborer. Can you speak Korean? The boy rubbed his chin thoughtfully looking at him. He mumbled, I will not fight, cannot use a dragon-slaying sword to catch chickens. He broke into a sweat looking at him. Huh? Di Xiong stood frozen. This guy has a problem with Korean. Mr. Dan began setting goals for everyone. This test only requires hunting 50 kobolds. Occasionally there may appear something interesting on the battlefield. If dangerous, the supervisor will intervene directly, so please focus and exert your abilities. Everyone focused on him. Di Xiong silently calculated, this test, will it be fine? Earlier he remembered asking Leon, does this foreign boy not use any weapon? Na Yon offered her bow. Handsome guy, I will lend you my weapon. Will you use the bow? You know how, right? Leon gripped the bow tightly. You want someone like me to use that? She eagerly replied, yes, use it and return it to me. He clenched the bow so hard it almost broke. He threw it forcefully to the ground. A knight does not use such lowly ranged weapons. Na Yon shouted in panic, my bow. Hey, what are you doing? Di Xiong fell into deep thought. If this continues, this year's test is ruined. He quickly suggested, do you know a place? Let us hunt there. Ti Hun agreed, you have more experience. Kang Ti also smiled, no objections. Ti Hun pointed behind. Di Xiong, near the meadow there is a pack. More of them there. Di Xiong realized, when the number of people is small, do not rush to touch their nest. If surrounded, retreat is impossible. We will attack those inside the cave. We will burn leaves and grass around to create smoke. Then we can easily attack kobolds inside. Na Yon looked at him admiringly. Ti Hun exclaimed, experience really shows. He smiled. It is nothing, he thought, nothing to be proud of. I have studied all attack methods, imagining one day stepping into the highest gate, though always the sole gate. This time I must rank up. When will I reach rank D? Suddenly he turned and saw Ti Hun trembling, clenching teeth. He shouted in fear, ahead, kobolds. A horde of kobolds rushed at them. Di Xiong quickly commanded, Ti Hun, use shield in front. He responded, yes. The kobolds roared savagely. A surge of power struck, making them confused. Ti Hun smirked, stupid beasts. If we fight head-on, blocking them is easy. Na Yon shouted, beside you. He blinked, huh. He was hit and fell backward. Di Xiong yelled, Ti Hun. Ti Hun stared at the kobold's sharp fangs lunging at him, speechless with fear. Di Xiong shouted, do not be careless. They are weak but very fast. The kobolds were quickly overwhelmed by the team's strong attacks. Their screams echoed. They were beaten into chaos. Kang Ti also attacked fiercely. Di Xiong turned to praise. Well done, not many left, let us go. After battle he reassured everyone, good job. Ti Hun lowered his head guiltily. Sorry, my fault. He comforted, it is fine, everyone has a first time. Na Yon also handled 2 of them. Thanks to the old man no one was hurt. Everyone did well, Di Xiong thought. Maybe, at first I was dissatisfied. But this group is not bad. Except one. Leon still silently watched. Di Xiong started talking. Hey foreign brother, we fought together, but you did nothing. Na Yon added, right, he just stood and watched. Mr. Staff, is that allowed? Mr. Dan awkwardly replied, everything will be fully recorded, do not worry. Di Xiang immediately said, then let us go deeper. A cave will appear soon. Ti Hun stared blankly. Oh, we are here. There really is a cave, Di Xiang suggested. Let us light a fire as I said earlier. Everyone began placing bundles of straw. Di Xiang bent down to light it. He fumbled with the lighter. Leon behind mocked, do you really think this is the best way? He turned angrily. Huh, you have done nothing and now talk nonsense. He calmly looked at him. I ask if this way is the best. Do not make me repeat. Di Xiang replied, I have used it 3 times, all 3 successful. Leon interrupted, experience is not bad. But how can you rely on experience when it is not certain? Di Xiang argued, you are still young, what do you know? The fire began spreading from the straw. He ordered, everyone get ready, soon some will crawl out of the cave. All responded, yes. Everyone stood ready to fight. Ti Hun gritted his teeth, come on. Kobolds poured out from the cave. They charged fiercely. Nayeon raised her bow. It is time. The attacks quickly struck them. They screamed in pain. Di Xiang smiled proudly. Indeed, my way is never wrong. He constantly cheered. Good, keep it up. He thought, finish these, then only a few left on the meadow and done. Suddenly a chilling howl made him freeze. That roar. The leader. Impossible. The leader is the boss of the Soul Gate, ranked higher than C-class. Why did it appear now? Why did it appear? The ferocious monster roared loudly, shaking the whole area. The woman behind saw him injured and immediately shouted, Di Xiang. Right after that she recklessly rushed forward, attacking while giving orders. I and Ti Hun will fight the leader. The old man and Nayeon stopped the kobolds in the cave. The 2 of them instantly turned and left. At least one experienced person was needed. Otherwise, facing a leader-class monster as rank D without a front guard was suicide. When the 2 surrounded the leader, it looked terrifyingly fierce. Even as a rookie, I could only hope tanker Shin Ti Hun could hold on a bit. Ti Hun saw the monster's appearance and fell into great fear. The monster also noticed and glared at him. Then it gathered its power and lunged at the tanker with a powerful strike. He froze, seeing the ferocious monster rushing at him, not knowing what to do next. Seeing the situation turning bad, Di Xiang shouted loudly, Ti Hun, wake up. The boss's pressure is crushing his spirit. The savage monster got closer and closer, preparing a deadly blow. At this rate, the attack could not be blocked. The monster immediately struck and easily blew away the shield. Seeing that, Di Xiang panicked and shouted, rushing closer, Ti Hun, this is bad. The boy was so terrified by the monster that he sat frozen on the ground. At that moment, Di Xiang noticed the association staff still watching and was confused. Why are they not helping? They said if there was danger they would help. If this keeps going, Ti Hun will. The giant monster stepped closer and closer to Ti Hun, but he still sat on the ground trembling. Gritting his teeth, Di Xiang cursed angrily. Then he used his power, making the ground tremble slightly. The sturdy shield appeared in his hand again. He shouted and threw the shield forcefully. Ti Hun stepped back. The savage monster raised its axe high, preparing to strike Rei Hu. At that moment, the monster swung its weapon down but suddenly stopped in midair. It was startled to find it had hit the shield below. Di Xiang gripped the shield tightly, saving Ti Hun's life. He clenched his teeth, pushing his strength into the shield, resisting. When the monster increased its power, striking down again, Di Xiang redirected the blow with the shield, making it hit the ground with a loud sound. It looked greedily and angrily at Di Xiang. Suddenly it raised its sword and slashed fiercely at both of them. Di Xiang risked himself holding the shield to take the attack and muttered, "Can I block it?" He clenched his shield and teeth, thinking, if Ti Hun does not recover and keeps being attacked by that boss, how can I survive? He gritted his teeth, slowly making up his mind. This should be enough points to pass. Just then a pair of hands grabbed the blade, stopping it. Leon suddenly appeared, easily blocking the monster's strike, as if commanding Di Xiang, try again. Di Xiang stared at Leon in disbelief. What are you saying? He blocked the leader's attack with his fingers. Leon's face showed impatience, and he scolded. I said pick up your shield and fight again. You did it once, why not twice? Stand up and take your shield. Di Xiong stared blankly at the man in front of him. Seeing him freeze, Leon grew impatient. I told you to block its attack and counter now. Di Xiong startled back to his senses, stammering. What are you talking about? Can't you see everyone is in danger? Leon exploded in anger, shouting, Insolent! You should feel honored to receive the instruction of the Lion Lust King, yet dare to complain. Leon still stood firmly, explaining seriously. For a free soldier to be personally instructed by the Holy Night King is a family honor passed through generations. The gratitude is as deep as the sea. Frustrated, Di Xiong held his shield again, blocking in front of them nervously. Block and counter, right. What else can I do? Seeing the terrifying monster, Di Xiong decided to charge. To survive, I must do anything. The monster saw him advancing with shield and showed a look of disdain. Then it turned to Leon, roaring menacingly. Seeing that, Leon pressed his lips and silently observed. Then his face filled with fury, glaring and shouting, Are you insane? The monster shuddered at his presence, its whole body sweating. Di Xiong stared, puzzled by the creature's intense trembling. Then he poured all his strength into the shield to block its attack. The monster wildly swung its axe onto Di Xiong's shield. He gritted his teeth and muttered, I almost dropped the shield. Leon, unable to watch any longer, called out a warning. How can you block with brute force using just the shield? Leon's acidic voice rang with disdain. Do not confront something stronger than you head on. Aim your weapon at the gaps. His voice calmly reminded Di Xiong during the fight. How can you be confident of success with only a shield? The opponent is not a mannequin, but a living beast that learns. Leon casually lectured outside the battle to Di Xiong. Use your head. The fighter heard this and suddenly grew angry. Then tell me how. Just then the monster swung its axe at him. Leon kicked Di Xiong's calf sharply. Do not take your eyes off the enemy. Di Xiong escaped by a hair and trembled. If he had not blocked just now, he would be done for. Leon's low voice echoed through the forest. Do not bury your talent. Bring out your latent strength. Leon's face was full of confidence as he considered Di Xiong. You can do better. Hearing that encouragement, he paused. Do I have talent? Di Xiong's deep eyes widened. I have been rank D for 10 years, no special skill, just accidentally awakened. He stared at the monster. Impossible. Seeing the monster's fear, he whispered, After hearing that encouragement, I cannot be talentless. Di Xiong regained his confidence and looked straight at it. I can do it. The monster quickly raised its sword to strike down. Di Xiong widened his eyes and used all his strength to parry the attack. As the two weapons clashed, Di Xiong's fighting will surged. I can do this. The blow cracked a large fissure across the shield. Then the shield quickly pushed the strike aside. Di Xiong stared at his hand in disbelief. I blocked it. He could not help laughing loudly at the monster. But joy was short-lived when a rotten punch from the right struck him. The monster's blow hit him off guard and he fell hard. Leon watched helplessly and asked in disbelief, Why are you not watching the whole field? Seeing him on the ground, Leon's disappointed words rang out, Seems still too weak. At that moment, the system sound abruptly announced, the result of this year's assessment, Gu Di Xiong rank D. The bar was silent. A voice asked, You already know. 2 guards stood solemnly watching the building. Leon's face was grim as he stared and analyzed. Impossible that a fighter like that is ordinary. Kang Hyuk, head of the Korean Hunters Association, removed his mask and smiled slightly. I even wore an illusion mask to hide my face and body, but it seems meaningless. He spoke warmly to Leon. This time you personally participated in the evaluation. Did you get what you wanted? Leon sighed softly. I supervised candidates for the night position. His next words surprised Kang Hyuk. When he was impatient, he had no intention to go abroad. He sighed helplessly. Indeed, you guessed right. It seems your Majesty's presence made things a bit urgent. He grew nostalgic, similar to that posture. Anyway, the D-rank dungeon boss is arguably stronger than a C-rank. Leon's face filled with anger as he shouted, Filthy scoundrels, not even human. How long will you look upon my visage? Immediately Leon sent the monster away with one hand. Kang Hyuk recalled and laughed loudly. You truly treated it like a toy. Leon looked at him with some annoyance. Such riffraff are not a place for strolling. Kang Hayek sat opposite and slowly said, "If your majesty wants to found an order, we will assist you. You already guessed that, right?" Leon listened impassively as he explained, "There is no easier way than reputation. With fame it will be easier to establish. In this era, there are not many ways to spread renown besides force." Kang Hayek's face darkened. A gate was upgraded to raid after failing the assault at Qingyam. He continued to describe that area, a place no one could clear for an entire year. Failed events replayed in Kang Hayek's mind. In that area, Jagged is regarded as the strongest boss there, guarding the gem of wisdom held by Yakult Spiner. It is the boss of the special gate upgraded to red. Please slay it. Please. The gate of Chengju Stadium. First assault team of the KPP guild entered. Han Su led everyone seriously inside. Yol stood beside him observing the surroundings and softly asked, "This place is?" Han Su looked at the scene before him and explained, "It is a modern civilization, at least one more advanced than Earth." Hyori at the rear of the team could not help but exclaim, "Amazing! This is the gate of the future world." He still remained serious and cautious. Whenever there is fantasy or martial arts, it is never a future world. Yol scouted around then suddenly shouted, "Guild Master, this is a server hole." Hearing that, Han Su frowned. "What a headache. In that case we must change our battle strategy." He nodded in agreement, since hunters usually fight against a few strong enemies. Han Su searched for something, his eyes darting around, then suddenly froze upon noticing something strange. He then ordered toward a large building. "Choose that building as our base. The higher it is, the easier to observe." The elevator door suddenly opened into the room. Han Su coldly questioned the respectful Yol before him. "Yol, did you see anything?" Yol immediately reported, "Really nothing. No NPC and no monsters in sight." Han Su quietly observed but asked, "Where is Yakult Spiner? It seems to be the boss here." He stood up out of habit, completely unseen. Han Su found it strange. In such a big city there is not a single person or monster. He looked at the warriors outside and muttered, "Those are resistance soldiers. Lucky we are not facing a cruel dictatorship." Step by step Han Su advanced while the KPP team paid attention. Hyori listened carefully to the commands. "Although we have entered the gate, information about Yakult Shipper is still showing." Hearing the complaints, she felt helpless. "Anyway, we must secure the surroundings and select a scout team to go ahead." Just then, as Han Su was about to announce something, a beam of light slashed across his body. Yol witnessed it with his own eyes. His face turned pale with no trace of blood. Hyori was also deeply shocked by the act. At that moment, large guns began appearing on the walls around the camp, along with a hurried voice, "Everyone take cover." As soon as the voice stopped, the guns changed positions and aimed at everyone. Countless attacks were fired, explosions echoed loudly. Everyone panicked and fled in all directions. Yol watched as his comrades were struck one after another. He shouted their names while assessing the situation. Han Su is in a rank tanker and still could not react. How do we bring it down? Yol hid behind a large rock blocking the attack and shouted, "At this rate none of us will survive. Have you located the enemy yet?" Hyori judged the direction and replied, 3 o'clock, too much dust to estimate distance." She then turned to Yol. "Vice Master, the ground cannot hold any longer." He quickly looked around and ordered loudly, "Everyone retreat in sequence." After receiving the order, everyone turned and rushed out of the building. "Get out, the building is about to collapse." Hyori escaped while asking, "What about the guild master's body?" Yol hastily replied over the comm, "Something strange. Regroup and we'll find him later." Then he ordered Hyori, "Go first and check if the exit is safe." She immediately obeyed. "I'll go ahead." She quickly ran toward the entrance, announcing to everyone, "I see no signs of danger. The exit seems safe." Hyori dashed out through the door, but suddenly froze, sensing something strange. Right after that, a line appeared across her neck. Standing amid countless wires, she murmured, "Why does my neck feel tight?" When Yol's group arrived, they saw the horrifying sight. He whispered her name in fear. Hyri. He carefully looked. The wires outside were soaked in blood. The whole area was now covered in tangled wires. Furious Yol drew his sword and ordered, "Clear them all. We must escape at all cost." He poured mana into his sword and slashed at the wires. They seem ordinary, so the true enemy is human. Yol's team gradually cut through the wires in the area. He whispered in confusion. Since when has he been watching? Inside the monitor room, their every move was shown on the surveillance screen. Jagged creatures appeared one after another, tracking and blocking Yol's path. The main body clung to the wall, launching wires rapidly toward Yol. Feeling something, he glared at the empty space. At that moment, a huge explosion occurred, shocking everyone. All were hit and heavily wounded. The attack site turned into terrifying ruins. Yol, gravely injured, lost his right arm and looked around in horror. Then he screamed uncontrollably, "Show yourself, bastard!" Above, Jagged appeared one after another, aiming weapons at him. Seeing it, Yol was confused. A robot. Regaining focus, he stammered, "Are you Yakult Spiner?" Looking at the robot, he recalled a woman's words from the past. With this robot, one could still fight even without ammunition. Jagged's body slowly moved beside Yol. Seeing it, he shouted, "This monster, go ahead, kill my comrades." Suddenly, a laser beam fired from Jagged, followed by hundreds more aimed straight at Yol. His body was pierced into pieces by those beams. Jagged's mechanical voice echoed slowly, "Yappy, help me protect this city." Qingju Gate, 58 KPP hunters of the first assault team, no survivors. Third assault raised difficulty to attack Yakult Spiner, boss of the Red Grade Gate, indefinite suspension of Qingju assault. Outside, a large axe struck the ground with a loud boom. A huge, terrifying man laughed, that damn annoying sound like in the videos. His comrade glanced warningly, "Do not enter the inner city. The deeper you go, the higher the chance of encountering Yakult Spiner." Seeing the unstable situation, the rest decided to retreat. Proceed as discussed. We will recover the Gem of Wisdom for the Magic Tower. All credit and the remaining 60 billion will go to the Golden Lion Guild. Just then, a mechanical voice drew their attention. Number of entrants to Qingju Stadium Gate. Golden Lion Guild. Guild Master Junqiao, Vice Master H. Wang Yon have 47 members. Magic Tower T. Xiong and Mercenaries 48. Beside the system voice, Hari helplessly poured tea and said, "Your Majesty, please have a taste." She belonged to the Korean Hunters Association. Leon took a sip and praised, "Not bad. What tea is this?" She explained helplessly, "This is called barley tea, sir." The Qingju Stadium Gate began the fourth fierce battle. The gloomy atmosphere enveloped an entire ancient area. At the barracks of the 4th Conquest Corps at Qingju Gate, a voice rose, "What is the matter?" Hari stammered for a moment and then spoke, "I am afraid that everything is going quite smoothly. But at the same time, it seems like it will not stay peaceful for long. To be honest, I think the best situation would be if everything could be resolved peacefully without His Majesty having to intervene. But if that happened, you would not have the chance to increase your own fame." Leon suddenly agreed, surprising her. Yes, that would be the best possible situation. If the King of Lionheart himself does not have to directly intervene, then that means the situation is not so bad. What do you think the role of a king is in the land I once ruled? Hari hesitated to answer, "To govern." She also agreed with that idea. That is true. Anyone could take that role, unless he is an arrogant man. I think every ruler would be the same. Hari looked at him in surprise. Then, as the King of Knights. Suddenly she cried out. She reflected silently. Now that I think about it, every time he intervened was only when the attack could not be stopped. Hari curiously asked Leon, "Then, the duty of the King of Lionheart is?" He answered sternly, "The final stronghold." Do you understand? If the King of Lionheart has to intervene, then that is the disgrace of the knights. He tightly gripped the handle of the throne and stood upright, and that showed how serious the situation was. Coincidentally, it seems I must once again intervene to replace pitiful weaklings like you. Leon thought to himself, I miss my honorable knights so much. Hari looked at him timidly. But this conquest team has Hwang Jumcheol is an S rank, and there is also an A rank mage, so I think everything will be fine, Leon murmured to himself, assessing. You call them hunters, right? I admit they do possess power far greater than ordinary people. But they have never once experienced a real war. The outskirts of the city are safe. You seem quite confident even though you have only faced the enemy 3 times. He recalled the image of those hunters. He continued commenting, you call yourselves a conquest team, judging by the movement patterns of the monsters and acting on such limited information. How ridiculous. Hari looked at Leon in shock. He means? He began to analyze. A soldier will know how to react depending on how the situation develops. There is no standard or pattern for that. From what I have heard, this thing called jagged spin. At the same time, a huge explosion rang out along with screams. What is happening? Leon assessed inwardly. A talented war general indeed. Returning to the battle with jagged spin. A desperate voice echoed through the air. Yappy, I am sorry. This is my end. So, could you grant me one final favor? Last order, jagged spin, entity number 10 and 253 receiving command. Eliminate all unidentified objects invading the city. A gun was loaded, aiming directly at Jagged. It swiftly ran away, dodging the cannon attack. The people below screamed in panic. It is Jagged spin. Find shelter quickly. Take cover. Jagged began activating its machinery. It started scanning around through its positioning system. It aimed its weapon toward the building. Its shot, carrying immense force, flew toward the target. Hari and the others hid in a corner, unable to believe their eyes. The attack was so powerful that the surrounding ground and rocks became obscured. Yol cursed angrily. Damn it. What kind of damn monster is that? Jagged's system voice sounded. The living creatures responding have decreased by 23%. Begin firing to increase suppression effect. Energy accumulation 48%. Suddenly a man holding a hammer charged fiercely toward Jagged. Jumcheol rushed in forcefully. Die. He swung his hammer at Jagged. Part of its machinery immediately broke and malfunctioned. The system announced, main body damaged, internal pressure increased, changing priority, eliminate unidentified object. Jumcheol laughed triumphantly, shouting, too late, you pile of scrap metal. Jumsoon, Yonha shouted back irritably while jumping down. I told you already. She attacked with a blazing punch. The punch made the building explode. Do not call me Jumsoon. Seeing the scene, he praised, well done. Suddenly a bolt of lightning struck straight at Jagged. T-Seong raised his hand, controlling his power. I will take care of the rest. Jagged's system reported. Damage received increasing. Purging target urgently. Radar system disabled. Permission granted to use restricted resources. Activating RWR device inside the city. Target locked. Threat level 3 priority elimination. Suddenly someone shouted as Jagged tried to flee. Look at it. It is running. Chase it. It ran faster and faster. Shouts echoed continuously. Stop. Gil T-Seong pulled something from his pocket while chasing. I will activate the interference field. Gather around me. He stomped hard on the ground. A dazzling light spread across the area. A bullet flew straight toward them, but was blocked by a shield. The bullet immediately deflected in another direction. Yol gaped in astonishment. Gil T-Seong. This is, the bullets flying toward us are being bent away, he explained. It is a kind of magical device created to fight Jagged spin. Unfortunately, I have to use it this soon. But Jagged's system alarmed again. Risk factor detected. Abnormal condition observed. Initiating system restoration. Observation analysis complete. Coordinates D15, S37, F11. Fire. Yol was suddenly attacked so hard that he spat blood, shocking Gil T-Seong. He could not believe his eyes. Impossible. It calculated the trajectory curve to bypass the shield. What the hell is that thing? The following attacks continuously targeted them, causing explosions everywhere. Gil T-Seong roared furiously. How? Yongwen shouted at him. Mage Gil T-Seong, please turn off that interference field. Predicting trajectories is too difficult right now. Gil T-Seong quickly responded. Damn it, I am turning it off. Attack right when the field drops. 3, 2, 1. The scene before them blurred. Gil T. Seong shouted loudly. 1. Everyone froze at what they were witnessing. A scream suddenly echoed. Everyone, stop! Tangled strings surrounded them. Everyone was astonished. Strings. At that time, it was not just running away, but how could it have arranged all this? Jagged still stood atop the wires looking down. It slowly lowered its weapon. Its system announced, charging. Gil T. Seong stammered, speechless. No, his mouth hung open. How could it be? We gathered here to avoid fire, but it turned into a fatal mistake. Now we cannot move to dodge the attack. Jagged's barrel was raised again. The system reported, complete, fire. Suddenly the sound of galloping hooves approached. Everyone looked bewildered. That sound? A horse resolutely ran toward the wires. Everyone stared wildly as it bit and tore them apart. It is the sound of a horse. Leon gently stroked the horse. It has been a long time, my old friend. Then he swiftly climbed onto its back. He rode toward everyone. All were shocked by his appearance. Leon stood solemnly in front of them. He shouted loudly, "Soldiers, hear me. Courage allows you to ride into an army of enemies alone. I, the King of Lionheart, greatly value those like you." Jagged still did not understand what was happening. Leon's voice continued to echo. "I grant you glory under my respect. Through an honorable duel, I grant you the royal right to fight me. Warrior." Everyone sweated nervously looking at him. Is he crazy? Jagged was also bewildered by Leon's appearance. Its system announced, setting acceleration time for the electromagnetic rifle. Power increased by 13%. Danger level 0. Eliminating uncertain factors. Leon raised his weapon and shouted loudly, "Charge forward, warriors." The horse suddenly became alert, yet it continued to rush bravely ahead. Jagged's system reported, "Fire." Leon also roared madly, "Warriors, do not let those trivial long-range weapons attack." One by one they charged into that fierce power. Two streams of energy collided directly. Leon still persisted, thrusting his spear forward toward the enemy. The power made his eyes shine brightly. The massive impact gathered into a large fiery sphere. Everything around seemed to explode at once. Even Jagged could not believe the scene unfolding. For a brief moment, the advanced AI function of the autonomous cannon Jagged spin stopped operating. The phenomenon before it was something that even logical reasoning could not explain. Leon thought to himself, how powerful. Jagged's system sounded again, weapon analyzed. The weapon he is wielding is an old-style spear. Although it may be fast, the damage is not great. Danger level 0, not even worth responding to. Simply attack using the electromagnetic rifle. The intelligence of the machine made a very wise decision. 3 seconds prior, a thin barrier preventing small objects had formed. An unusual physical motion pattern had been recorded, assumed range. 2 seconds prior, fire the electromagnetic rifle bullet. Eliminate the target with the next shot as soon as the target enters the assumed range. And, when 1 second remained, continuous gunfire erupted. Leon easily deflected them. The bullets were repelled. There was no collision or blocking process, only the result that the bullets were deflected without any other process. A strong thrust technique that all knights could use. Even when facing humanity's most powerful AI weapon, it still must obey the laws of physics. Jagged continued firing bullets. Leon kept resisting with unwavering strength, under the blessing of holy law. Knights always possessed the power to overcome any attack, able to defeat their opponent unconditionally in one strike. In the air, the two forces still clashed fiercely. Leon stood within the haze staring at his foe. Jagged was battered until its machinery shattered. The system announced, physical phenomenon cannot be explained by logical reasoning, therefore cannot be understood. Enemy threat level must increase, danger level 5. Retreat from the battlefield immediately. Jagged began its escape. Leon silently watched the direction it fled. He muttered doubtfully, running away just like that. Jagged recalled the previous command, Yappy, protect this place. Do not let anyone approach. It had accepted that order. Its system reported, temporarily processing 5 standard bullets and 36 custom bullets. Need to manufacture 657 bullets, 60mm machine gun usable. Check damages and recalibrate weapon functions. Danger level 5. Old type combat weapon but strength unmeasurable. Proceeding with regeneration and opponent data analysis. The sound of machinery echoed noisily. The voice of the one who gave it the order resonated again. Yappy, thank you for protecting this city. Jagged system reported. Recovery and analysis complete. Able to continue mission. At Qingju Gate City Center Sports Complex Zone B, everyone was still hiding in a small alley. Suddenly Dan shouted, "Stop!" 250 meters ahead, the alley across the street, some bastard just fired artillery. Jolta looked forward and ordered, "Distant warriors, climb to the opposite building carefully. The rest stay here. If that bastard notices us, alert us immediately." Suddenly blood splattered on his cheek, making him freeze. He turned in shock to see all his comrades behind him dead. He shouted in horror. That is, a shadow appeared making Jolta tense. He swung his sword behind him. Who's there? Some bastard. Clearly. He grew even more confused. Dense streams of energy struck toward him continuously. The tight network overwhelmed him. He was instantly killed. Jagged system sounded again. Elimination of 5 external variables complete. A scream suddenly echoed. No, I don't want to die, the system reported, confirming remaining living creatures. Danger level 0. A boy ran into a large cemetery. He ran so fast that he tripped and fell. He screamed in panic, "Someone help me, I don't want to die." Jagged began preparing to attack him. The boy's sobs grew weaker. It slowly advanced toward the target. Suddenly it was drawn to the graves. The words of the one who gave it orders echoed in its mind. Yappy, remember this. Sooner or later I will be buried here like the others. If that happens, then I too will forever become part of this city. When that time comes, protect this city for me. Yappy. Jagged system reported. According to analysis, priority 2, attack intruders. According to analysis, priority 3, eliminate them. Free judgment. Direct decision when detecting enemies. In exceptional circumstances, priority order will change. The boy stared blankly at Jagged. Am I saved? Suddenly it shot away, leaving the boy even more astonished. A voice suddenly came from behind him. It's fine now, kid. The boy cried and knelt. Sir Gil T-Seong, thank you, he asked blankly. What? The boy explained. That machine didn't kill me. It just ran away. Could it be because it saw Sir Gil T-Seong coming, afraid of being destroyed, so it fled? Gil T-Seong's comrade answered arrogantly. Of course, fighting Sir Gil T-Seong is beyond that machine's ability. This place is full of graves, but strangely it's very clean. The whole city is dirty except here. Why is that? Jagged kept flying everywhere. The system reported. Confirmed increase of hostile forces. Victory rate 92%. But exceptional case, therefore final decision. Retreat. Gil T-Seong spoke. This is a strange place. Let's leave quickly. His comrade agreed immediately. Yes. Jagged's system echoed again. Final priority decision is to protect the people, even if they are people who have already died. Jagged returned to regenerate its energy. The system voice sounded again. Estimated remaining enemy count 49. Risk level 5. Probability of eliminating threats 35.7%. Continue monitoring the battle. Suddenly a shadowy figure appeared. He spoke thoughtfully. Here it is. He grinned wickedly. He looked at Jagged and taunted. Was it fun playing around with those brats? Leon was like a superhero before the dazzling shield in front of him. He was someone who deeply admired the spirit of chivalry. It is really not an exaggeration to call Leon the embodiment of a man carrying the spirit of a knight. He despised wars of slaughter between people, always pursued fair struggles. Leon at this moment furrowed his brows and spoke. Well, are you all ready? Suddenly, from where Jagged was, a bright red light flared up as if signaling readiness. In just an instant, it exploded this entire area. Though he was such a man, the opponent would still sometimes try to play dirty. Even so, Leon never lost his elegant knightly virtue. Even if he were struck down, this human embodiment of a knight would never submit. He had an incredibly strong aura. Leon was chosen by the gods because of that. He squinted his eyes at the Jagged through the smoke and wondered. Fighting machines for honor? Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? The robot immediately pointed its gun toward where Leon was standing, checking equipment. 480 rounds of 60 cannon shells. The moment the words fire were uttered was also when it shot its rounds straight toward him. Leon still stood motionless within the protection of the tower's defensive barrier. Jagged paused, making an assessment. Identical model, an abnormal physical phenomenon. It immediately analyzed the curved trajectory, then darted to the side. All surrounding positions were swept by Jagged to be marked. Position F12, N23, Q31. In just moments, 3 more shells were fired toward him at the command, "Fire." Leon still showed no movement. He only furrowed his brows and curled his lips into a sinister smile. Leon suddenly stomped his foot hard onto the ground. Instantly, the entire spot he stood on collapsed in a flash. Everything there crumbled down, making Jagged unable to get its bearings in the thick smoke. It was confused, not knowing what to do, only let out a few mechanical sounds. Suddenly, a giant sword came crashing down from nowhere. The sound caught Jagged's attention. It quickly fired a laser toward that direction. Not long after, Jagged froze for a few seconds, truly going from one surprise to another. Leon fought with great power and joy. His eyes were cold and carried the thirst for battle. Jagged on the other side sparked with flickers of light in its wires. They fired countless bullets toward Leon. It reported unable to hit the target. His eyes became much more cautious. Leon, riding his horse, smirked. "You want to play hide and seek with me, huh?" Jagged continuously fired sparks in all directions. It was unwilling. It couldn't accept this. A beam of light with enormous power chased his steps. Explosions followed in small bursts. System. This can't be. Jagged carefully analyzed Leon. Now he was like a true warrior. How could such a mere being have such strength? The two chased each other out into the dark road without a single light. A hook was pulled into a pillar and held tight. It lost control. Couldn't believe it. This can't be real. Leon shouted energetically, "Charge in, attack, and take down the target." Right after that, both sides clashed head-on. His warhorse neighed loudly, its eyes flashing with lightning. It dashed through obstacles with ease. Then both sides created distance again and stood watching each other from afar. Leon smiled in a strange delight that made anyone who saw it shiver. He praised mockingly, "Not bad." The Jagged went silent for a long while, as if calculating something. Its body shifted, creating new attacks. The steps of the warhorse were light as it dodged them all. Jagged continuously shot sparks as if to burn him down, but the horse swiftly dodged. Bullet shells scattered everywhere, proof of the ferocity of the battle. Leon on horseback calmly avoided every rain of fire. In the air, Jagged unleashed one powerful strike after another. The great fires and sparks lit up the space. The place gradually turned into ruins, pieces of concrete falling down. He lost control, his eyes glowing fiercely. "Io, Kudaku." Immediately after, the horse stopped, then leaped high. It jumped across stones and walls to approach Jagged. It widened its eyes, seeing Leon's urgent movements. Then came a mighty leap from the horse that left everyone in shock. Jagged activated 60 small bullets, fired all at once. Instantly, it launched every shot toward the target. The bullets flew toward Leon, riding his horse high above. Leon's eyes shone through the barrage, his teeth clenched tight. Jagged panicked upon seeing that terrifying face. He shouted loudly, "Lionheart, I have my pride." Right after that, Leon raised his hand to strike back against the attacks he endured. At the same time, a massive explosion shook the entire area. The Jagged was completely destroyed. It sparked with electricity. It reported, "Direct critical hit, system disabled. The sealed things here must never be taken outside." Beginning self-destruction process, Jagged started the sequence. Immediately, red lights appeared signaling annihilation. Destroy all weapon storage. Program activated at once. Leon's face turned pale, unable to believe it. Finally, a great explosion erupted like a volcano. The place that exploded was a cargo chamber thick with the smell of oil. Someone appeared covered in wounds. Courageous, get out of the way. I will protect the city. That is my mission. But then only screams were left. A tentacle crept through the wall. A grotesque monster appeared with a single red eye. It glared viciously around as if exploring something new. The monster moved toward the only light. The target was just one. Its tentacles struck deep, cracking the ground. The monster roared ferociously, "Deploy fire support." Immediately countless Jagged crawled out with the mission. Protect the city. Protect the city. Yakult Spiner is moving toward the city and defeating the enemy, truly a hero. The story of unmanned machines saving a city on the brink of destruction is a sweet tale for citizens losing hope. Those machines are symbols of sacrifice. They have become brave knights. At this moment, Jagged was standing and fighting in the fires. The Yakult Spiner were reconstructed, including Code 10-253. Under the leadership of the last commander, the city was protected. Safe now, the city was protected by the fighting Jagged. Until true peace finally resided here. The master once instructed it. Yappy, this is the final plea. Protect this city. Absolutely do not take that thing outside. And the last remaining battle machine received its final order. Absolutely do not let anyone approach that thing. The last mission Jagged carried out, stop them all, and protect that thing. They must stop the monsters from reaching it. Now Jagged fought endlessly with the goal, stop and protect. It moved to each ammo crate to continue fighting. Jagged fought tirelessly because of the words, stop and protect. Those words echoed constantly in their awareness. In reality, Leon rejoiced. Done it, it's over. Falling down there and still wanting to protect this place to the end, huh? And that thing, his expression suddenly changed looking behind. There was a black sphere gathering dark energy. Leon wondered, is that what you've been trying to protect? Wisdom Jewel. He drew out a sword from space. Leon strode boldly and declared, that is something that should not exist. Hearing a noise behind, he stopped and looked back. Jagged was weakly attacking. He smirked. Still want to fight me, huh? Seems you've guarded this thing for a long time, Leon said to it. His voice carried understanding. All those years guarding it alone. Truly a loyal knight. Everyone would be grateful for your loyalty and devotion. Yakult Spiner, now it was weak and incomplete. Leon raised his sword high and declared solemnly, your mission is complete. I officially announce all has ended. He pointed his sword forward, creating a dazzling radiance. Rays of light crept through cracks in the ground. The light pierced through the high sky. Leon's figure stood firm, witnessing the miraculous sight. Finally, the thing Jagged had always protected was destroyed. He said, rest in peace. Jagged gradually finished its duty and had no reason left to continue. It shattered and ceased functioning in the light of nature. Thank you, Yappy. Leon walked along the corridor with Kang Hayek. The man seemed to understand. So that's how it is. You destroyed the sacred gem, didn't you? He asked coldly. Are you dissatisfied? Kang Hayek forced a smile. Not at all. Your Majesty was the one who defeated the Jagged Spiner. Therefore, the right to decide the fate of the gem naturally belongs to your Majesty. Leon snapped. You don't have to feel regret, because that thing is nothing different from poison. The man was startled. Poison, Leon explained. That gem was created to tempt humans based on intelligence and endless curiosity. Meaning it is an artifact made by the devil. Kang Hayek was shocked. The devil. Leon spoke seriously. At first it listens to the wishes of its owner. But gradually it demands payment for what was gained. Just like feeding a pet. It slowly tames us that way. It will erode us through trivial temptations such as the dream of immortality and eternal life. Then gradually people lose their humanity and become demons in just a short time. Have we found the other gem yet? We must destroy it quickly. The man trembled. That terrible. I will immediately report this to the US government. Hearing that, Leon continued walking and praised, good. But it is very likely that someone has already been tempted by the devil. They walked together into the laboratory where the scientists were working. He wondered, is this the place where that thing was buried? Kang Hayek replied, Yes, that's right. Inside, the scientists were studying the remains of the Jagd that Leon once destroyed. One of them asked for orders. What should we do with it? Leon said darkly, "It is a noble knight. We should bury it and let it meet the gods. But first, let's hold a ceremony." He took out a holy chalice. Leon gently declared, "O loyal knight, rest in peace." He closed his eyes and poured water down. Each drop of holy water soaked into Jagd's body. Suddenly, a bright light shone from that place. Its legs slowly moved slightly. Jagd firmly gripped its feet onto the base below. Kang Hyuk was shocked. Jagd Spiner is moving. Leon's eyes turned deep as if thinking about something. This thing. Jagd began emitting mechanical sounds of its own. Then it slowly moved the parts in the middle of its body. He noticed his emotions changing. This feeling is strange. Even without a power source, it could still operate thanks to the blessing. Jagd automatically adjusted its mechanical parts. Then a smaller version of it appeared outside. A small, complete Jagd was growling. Leon immediately drew his sword. So that's it. Though I don't know if this is the goddess's choice or not. He stood there swinging his sword, observing carefully. Leon's sword struck the ground hard, and his whole body radiated light. Kang Hyuk broke into sweat, unable to believe his eyes. The others were in deep reverence. What is that? Jagd narrowed its red eyes, creating tension. Leon's gaze also locked onto it, unflinching. Leon slowly raised his holy sword. Immediately, he slashed a horizontal line carrying a beam of light. A thunderous flash illuminated the room. Before their eyes appeared a beautiful woman. The man was stunned, unable to close his mouth. How could this be? Everyone in the room knelt down in reverence. All present had the intuition that the woman appearing in the brilliant divine light was certainly not human. She could only be something sacred, incomparable in this world. Leon bowed his head and smiled respectfully. "Lady Ariana." She spoke. "Lionheart, my first knight, tell me what is happening." He was silent for a long moment after hearing the question. Then he said, "This Jagd Spiner is a noble knight, a role model for all knights. So I ask Lady Ariana to consider bestowing knighthood upon him." The goddess Ariana gazed at Jagd and sighed, "But it did not fulfill my mission. Though it has proven its honor, that glory was not offered to me." Leon pleaded, "As the first knight of the goddess, Lionheart, I guarantee that this being is a great knight." She smiled. "If my knight says so." He stayed silent, listening to the goddess's words. Oriana spoke gently, "Then I need not deliberate further. But I must confirm one thing." She extended her hand. "O knight made of steel and iron of this world, I have heard your story from Knight Lionheart. Will you praise the light and justice?" Jagd replied in its own mechanical voice. She continued, "Honor and knowledge are abundant, but your heart is still that of a child. Help me banish evil and become my knight." It turned and looked straight at Leon. He nodded and smiled at it as a signal. Jagd then stepped forward bravely like a true hero. It emitted new distinct sounds in response. The space became peaceful and sacred. Jagd reported, hacking into sound and language transmission modules, establishing language system. Ariana quietly observed the being before her. Its sound echoed, confirming demon attack, divinity. Seeing that, she smiled sweetly like the sun. Ariana spread her arms. "Very well, Jagd Spiner. If you vow loyalty to my first knight and lend him your strength, I will let you share in his glory." Immediately a light shone down on it. He closed his eyes and felt it. The new Holy Grail Knight will be entrusted with the mission of glory and justice. From then on, Jagd became a Holy Grail Knight. Meanwhile, at the Mata branch of the United States, a nervous voice spoke, "Forgive me, great being." In Ronald Shellman's office, Mata State, he begged forgiveness for failing to achieve what was required. A dark voice scolded, "Foolish, even such a simple task you couldn't do. I taught you the sacred truth and wisdom of Samra, yet you disappoint me deeply." He knelt down. "I'm sorry, please forgive me. But I had no other choice. The survivor named Leon was a variable we didn't foresee." The gem screamed, "Don't dirty my ears with such excuses. That Leon, who is he?" The words confused Shellman. The gem commanded, "Turn on the news now." He hurried, "Yes, great one." Shellman immediately turned on the TV. On the screen, Leon was being interviewed. "I am the Celestial Lion King, Leon Dragonia Lionheart." The gem trembled in terror and shouted, "What? That brat, why is he here, why?" The man called, "Master," and in his heart he felt his master trembling in fear. The gem dimmed its light in panic. "I give up. I won't do this cursed thing anymore." Shellman panicked. "Master." He ran to hold the gem, confused, calling continuously, "Master." Shellman's eyes were filled with fear, his mouth stammering, "Mass." Then he screamed in pain, "Master," and the gem never spoke again. At the Korean Hunters Association, Kang Hyuk said, "So then," he told Leon, "we will register Sir Jagged Spin as your guild master." Kang Hyuk smiled awkwardly. "It will be a bit difficult to make everything work out right away," Leon replied. "No problem." Leon and Jagged walked out of the room together. Suddenly Leon stopped, making Jagged raise its head. "Kirik." All of a sudden, blood spurted from Leon's mouth, startling Jagged. "Kirik," Ariana asked in concern, "are you all right, my knight?" He wiped his mouth with a handkerchief. "I am fine, my goddess," he thought to himself. "Recommending a holy grail knight in a place lacking divinity damaged me far too much." Jagged tapped Leon's leg. "Kirik, Kirki." He sighed. "It is not your fault. It is because I am not strong enough." She continued, making Leon ponder, "How could that possibly be your fault?" "This is due to my own shortcomings." He placed his hand on his chest firmly. "No matter what happens, I cannot blame the gods." "Please do not say such words," Ariana wanted to reply but stopped. "My knight." She watched attentively from the other side. Through her divine gate, Ariana said, "I have always been grateful for the loyalty you have given me. This is my fault, and also the fault of the other gods for not intervening sooner." Leon looked confused and startled. The hand he placed on his chest suddenly ignited in flames. "Rest now. Always have faith in your god and wait for them," he called out, "my lady Ariana." She pondered for a moment and cut off contact. After that she summoned 3 other gods for discussion. "My brothers and sisters," Ariana stood before them, "we need to help our devotee." The day King Lionheart turned 12 was the day the world perished and only one knight remained. He expelled all divinity from his world and sealed it inside his heart. The gods felt ashamed, abandoning the heart of such a noble knight, and they continued to watch King Lionheart destroy all monsters for 180 years. They placed the burden of the entire world on the shoulders of a single human being. Therefore, all gods in the pantheon owe Leon a debt that can never be repaid. All of them sat around the round table. Sigh. The goddess Demira asked Ariana, "How is that child?" She replied, "Not well." Ariana explained, "My knight has overexerted himself." Demira asked anxiously, "Ah, what should we do?" Pedos slammed the chair angrily, assigning only one holy grail knight to bear so much pressure. He grabbed his head in frustration. What has the King Lionheart, who radiates divine light, become? Ariana leaned on her hand and said, "Keep your pride." War? He fought for our gods for more than 200 years and finally achieved victory, Pedos shouted. "I know that already." He yelled in anger, "That is exactly why I am angry at myself." The 3 fell silent. Demira felt guilty and did not dare raise her head. Ariana bowed as well and said, 180 years. Then she lifted her head and spoke. "It is time for us to act, my brothers and sisters." They silently listened to her. "I cannot continue to watch our knight suffer any longer." A hand was raised. "I have an idea." Oriana turned. "Please speak." Hito crossed his arms and said seriously, "Just as the god of life once did with the plains, we should bestow as many blessings as possible to restore faith among people." Pedos leaned on his chin. "You want us to do missionary work?" He replied, "Yes, we will show humans the miracles of the gods." Demira brightened at that. "And from what we have seen through the believers of life, this world is connected by something called the internet." Hito smiled. "We will use the internet to do it." Pedos wondered, "But why has King Lionheart never thought of this? He used to be one of this world's citizens." He replied, He lived in that world before the internet became widespread. Ariana asked, but still, what about trials and failures? The information Leon spread took 20 years to take root. Hito only smiled. He said proudly, that is when our holy grail knight steps in. Some time later, in Jinsu's office, someone called him in panic. Manager, look at this. Jinsu came over puzzled. The person pointed at the screen. This is on YouTube. Is this even allowed? He frowned. YouTube. Then his face turned pale. What is this? On the screen appeared the YouTube channel, Naji Plains, YouTube. Sweat rolled down his temple. This is... Currently the Pantheon TV channel was live streaming a video titled Pray Before and After Each Meal to Thank Goddess Demara. Then there were other videos with titles like, Why Go to the Hospital? An office worker who once looked down on farmers. One sentence from an old man changed his life. A bowl of rice appeared with the words on the screen. It is just rice. But with one spoonful, your life can change. Ask about God. Another video, Ask about God. The result is surprising. Jinsu read the comments below and thought, all clickbait. But the video quality is incredibly high. The three people watching the screen fell silent. He asked, who made these? The other said, Pantheon. Isn't that his superior, Leon? Jinsu was surprised. You think he would use YouTube? He replied, no. Then guessed again. Could it be Assistant Han who did it? He remembered his chat with Hari about tech and denied it immediately. She knows nothing about computers. Jinsu leaned against the partition. The bigger problem is, these videos aren't clickbait. They're all real. He frowned. What should we do? Thinking. What is he planning? Then Jinsu turned to leave. I'll go out for a bit. The other asked, where are you going? Holding his phone he replied, I'm going to meet that Leon guy. Meanwhile, at the apartment where Leon lived, in the room of the apartment, Jagged with its robotic legs was furiously typing on the laptop. It looked at the screen, subtitles created successfully. Then pressed enter, upload in progress. The door suddenly opened. Hari peeked in. Sir Jagged, have you finished using my computer yet? She looked at Jagged on the desk. What are you doing? Jagged replied. Kirik. Then said, promotion plan, phase 1 complete. A golden light surrounded it, proceeding to phase 2, hacking into the internet network. Seeing this, Hari froze. Then she snapped out of it and thought, Sir Jagged must just be playing a game. Hari didn't understand a single thing about how computers worked. The sky was clear and blue with white clouds floating gently above the endless golden fields of ripe grain stretching across the plains of Naju. In a house beside the fields, the temporary branch of the Pantheon Association in Naju Plains was busy. Jinsu rushed in panic. Your Majesty, we have to take down the video. Hari looked at him blankly while Leon calmly sat behind her sipping tea. She poured him a cup. Have some barley tea first. Jinsu took it. Ah yes, thank you. He drank it all in one go, then wiped his mouth and realized, oh no, that video. Jinsu asked, who uploaded it anyway? Leon replied, Sir Spin did. He looked puzzled. Sir Spin. Hari pointed to the room next door where Jagged was typing furiously on a laptop. Jinsu thought to himself, that killing machine knows how to make videos. Seeing it use the computer so professionally. How is that possible? Leon asked, what do you mean by taking down the video? Jinsu looked at him. You already know. Then said, the rice from the Naju Plains is completely different from anywhere else in the world. It can cure all diseases and even make the body stronger, like something out of a fairy tale. He continued, once people learn about these rice fields, the whole world will hunt them down. Jinsu imagined Naju Plains would be filled with bandits, and not ordinary ones either. He bowed slightly. When the Food Bureau allows us to sow the seeds, the association will fully cooperate. Please wait until then. Leon lifted his cup. I understand. You have your own rules and systems. I get your point. Then he closed his eyes and said, but you are worrying for nothing. Jinsu looked confused. Excuse me. Leon explained, the farm of the goddess cannot be stolen from. Jinsu broke into a cold sweat, startled. Why is he so confident? As night fell over the Naju fields, a convoy of black cars stopped by the fields. Gore looked at his phone and said, that grain, it definitely exists. Zack pulled down his hood. What the hell? I thought they would have reinforced the security to the maximum. Yet there's nothing at all. The group looked at the vast empty field. So we just take the seeds and burn this place down. Gore adjusted his jacket and said, we were paid. Just do our job. Bring the gasoline here. The subordinates obeyed. Yes, sir. This was the infamous Venom Serpent Squad, a hitman organization. They silently entered the field, moving in 2 lines deeper inside. One of them saw something and gasped. Hick. Ahead, a tattered cloth fluttered in the mist. Boss, there's someone there. Zack and the others drew their weapons cautiously. It turned out to be just a scarecrow standing in the field. They stared at it. A scarecrow. Gore barked. It's just a scarecrow, you idiot, Zack stammered. Ah, my mistake. The 2 walked past it. Weird. Why did it look like it moved? Must have been the wind. Moron. Gore felt something strange and looked up. The scarecrow in the dark looked eerie, giving him chills. Zack called, boss. Look, he turned. What? Suddenly more scarecrows appeared out of nowhere. Why are there so many? They kept coming closer and closer. Zack trembled. Hick, Gore shouted. Idiot. You're an assassin and you're scared of some scarecrows. He ordered, stop rambling, check the wind direction. Spread the fire as fast as possible. I'll grab the seeds from the storage. Gasoline poured onto the fields. They threw the cans aside. Is that it? Gore said as one of his men struck a match. These grains don't seem normal. Let's keep a few for ourselves. Mansu, Jinti, you too. No one replied. Huh? He asked. Where did they go? One of his men looked around. Huh, they were right behind me. No one was there, only distant shadows of scarecrows flickering in the mist. Huh, where's Deucin? Gore suddenly realized. Hey, Zack shouted in panic. Those scarecrows. When they noticed, they were already surrounded, and the scarecrows were moving closer. One appeared behind Gore, its arm covered with spikes. He turned in shock. The head hidden in shadow slowly revealed a cartoonish face mocking them. Gore cursed. Damn it. He slashed and split the scarecrow in 2. His men gasped. Boss. He shouted. They really move. They're not normal scarecrows. The scarecrows were surrounded by a chilling aura as they stepped closer. They're monsters. One with a smiling face approached, a sharp sickle attached to its arm. The group panicked. Boss, what do we do? In their minds thinking. No way. How can all of them be monsters? The scarecrows surrounded them completely. There was no dungeon crack here. A hand fell hard to the ground. A wounded subordinate crawled. Boss, what are these things? I've never seen anything like them even in the barrier. Gore yelled. How would I know? Thinking to himself. Damn it. I was in such a hurry I didn't bring enough men. He recalled the mission. I knew something was off about this one. I'll make them pay if anyone's trying to trap us. One subordinate pointed. Huh, boss. Wait, Gore shouted. What now? He said. That thing. There's a warehouse over there, isn't that it? Inside were piles of crates. Gore grinned wickedly. Found it. If the miracle about these grains is real, I'll be rich. Then he turned and ordered, load as much rice as possible into the trucks. Those monsters only wander the fields. The warehouse is fine. He grinned. Let's go. Just as he stepped forward, the moment Gore's foot touched the ground, boom, an explosion threw him backward, shocking everyone. A figure dropped from above. Hick. Gore lay still, having stepped on a mine. His men called out, Boss, his face pressed into the dirt. Why is there a mine here? They all looked at the ground before the warehouse. Did they plant mines there? One stammered, who would do that? Then a voice echoed, Kirik. Someone saw Jagged approaching. Huh, it said, intruders confirmed. He panicked. Why here? Realizing, this is the Qingju barrier. Jagged's eyes glowed red. Jagged spin, eliminating. Time passed. The next morning came. Behind the house a group of people were tied up beside a sign. Each had tears streaming down their faces for choosing the wrong place to rob. The sign beside them listed the rules here. At the bottom, one line was highlighted in red. Theft will not be forgiven. The Venom Serpent Squad has been successfully captured. After the arrest of the members of the Demon Association, the value of Pantheon and the blessed rice skyrocketed like crazy. even embodying the algorithm itself. Leon had traveled around temples across the country to promote the consumption of blessed rice. Despite a minor incident, the plan still went through. In the end, the entire internet was talking about Pantheon. Leon slowly placed the newspaper down on the table. He let out a sigh. So this is what the gods had planned all along. It seems they've adapted to this modern world even better than I have. Suddenly Hari's shout echoed, "Breaking news here, Your Majesty." She ran over. The results for the rice valuation are out, and now each bag is worth up to 230 million won. He calmly replied, "It needs to be cheaper." She looked puzzled. "Isn't it better if it's more expensive?" Leon's face turned serious. "The market determines the value of goods, but if the price of something like rice is that high, how could ordinary people ever afford it?" He said gloomily, "The blessings of the gods should be shared among all people." Hari was surprised by his compassion. "Is that so, Your Majesty?" He recalled the face of the president. "I met that president before to tell him that we must explain the divine blessing to the farmers. But he said a president must keep faith and religion neutral." She hesitated. "I suppose that's true." Leon stood up. "Well, I still need to gain more trust from the people." He smiled confidently, enough to use the power of the tiger's heart and its strength. Hari tried to dissuade him. "But Your Majesty, is that really fine?" He turned back. "What do you mean?" She continued, "That golden gate, to raid that dungeon with the people you've chosen is nearly impossible." Leon still smiled. "Well then, we'll see." The scene shifted outside his building. A voice called out, "Oh, isn't that Mr. Gu?" Di Xiong turned his head. Behind him stood a man with silver hair, team leader Kim. The man scratched his head. "We meet again." The elder smiled. "You're here because of that message too, about the guild master recruiting hunters like us?" "I'm not sure either." He glanced around. "I don't really know." His eyes swept across the crowd. They were all hunters, mostly rank D, with a few at rank C. Suddenly someone gasped, "That's Han Hari, the magic sword master of rank A." Hari walked in with 2 guards. It seems she got the highest score in last year's exam. Di Xiong silently watched her without saying anything. A loud voice announced, "His Majesty is arriving, the noble King Leon Dragonia Lionheart." Di Xiong's eyes widened. That man. Leon descended in his regal presence, the survivor. He thought, "I already knew he wasn't normal, but he truly belongs to another world." Leon stepped onto the platform, and everyone fell silent. He spoke, "Welcome. The reason I've gathered you all here today," his words were bold, "is because I am seeking warriors to join my order, Pantheon." Leon's voice resonated across the hall. "Those who pass the evaluation, those who prove their worth, those who overcome the test." The crowd murmured, "Soldiers, not guild members." His words were filled with purpose. "I shall grant you the honor of joining my army." Di Xiong froze. The army, not a guild. The guard beside Leon lifted a remote. "Now, we will announce the entry evaluation test." The test is... An image of a dungeon appeared behind them. "Handle the golden dungeon at Samjian Station." The crowd gasped. "What? The Golden Gate?" They shouted, "How could we possibly handle that? That's suicide." "What kind of crazy test is this?" Team leader Kim and Di Xiong were both shocked by such arrogant words. The reaction of the hunters was understandable. The levels of gates were classified by color. The hardest was black, followed by red, then orange, and below them were yellow, green, and blue. Considering that the gate Gu Di Xiong handled during the Seoul Station exam was a blue gate, for rank C or D hunters, a golden gate meant certain death. The crowd grew angry. "How are we supposed to deal with a gold-class gate? That's like telling us to die." The guard tried to calm them. "Silence. If you do not wish to proceed, you may leave." They turned and left, cursing as they went. "You think saying that will make us stay? TCH, waste of time." Everyone left. "Go home and sleep." Di Xiong still stood still. Is it okay to just let them go? But his worries were unnecessary. They all quickly departed. In a moment, the hall that had been crowded was now almost empty. Leon looked down, thoughtful. He pointed at a curly-haired man. "You there." The man went pale and pointed to himself. Huh, me. Yes, you. Leon asked, why did you decide to stay? The man wiped his sweat. Because I thought there was something more to this. Leon nodded. I see. Then he pointed to another person. What about you? The man stammered, I just thought I'd stay and watch, I guess. Leon moved on. And you? That one answered. My friend stayed, so I stayed. After asking several, he rubbed his chin. Then, Leon pointed straight at Di Xiong. You, why did you stay? Di Xiong bit his lip. A guild that produces someone nearly as strong as an S-rank hunter. He resolved, I must seize this chance, then shouted, I believed you wouldn't let us die there, so I stayed. Leon smiled with satisfaction. That's a good attitude. You're clever and quick. He stepped down. As I said, I am here to gather soldiers. Leon's voice rang out. The duty of a soldier is to obey orders. He reassured them. You have accepted the call of a knight without hesitation, so believe in the sincerity and strength of a knight. Sweat dripped from Di Xiong's face. That's all you need to do. Leon's lips curled into a grin, meaning, just listen and follow orders. Then he raised his hand, his voice louder. We will depart immediately. Bring your personal gear and finish your preparations. The scene shifted to the Golden Rank Gate at Samjian Station. A group of armed soldiers lined up. Team leader Kim whistled. Wow, this is heavy. These are some good pieces of equipment. He rubbed his hands. Aren't all of these rare grade items? Just this alone must be worth 10 million won. Hunters like us, rank C and D, have never touched gear like this before. Di Xiong looked at his shield, confused. A shield? But I'm an attacker. Then his eyes drifted to Leon in the distance. That king? He was shocked. He's not even wearing any armor. Di Xiong waved to Hari. Miss Han Hari. She startled. Hunter Gu Di Xiong. What is it? He asked. Why isn't His Majesty wearing armor? Her face twitched. Ah. She explained. His skin is tougher than armor. He gasped. Oh. His eyes looked at Leon with awe and respect. Ah, since he's that strong, nothing bad will happen. Right. A streak of blood splattered, the head of an orc sliced clean, teeth and hair flying. The soldiers behind flinched. What the hell just happened? Leon's voice was furious. I didn't hear a single one of you speak. His anger burst. He shouted, You are no longer warriors of honor. You shall crawl like worms on the ground and face death there. His sword pointed forward. Leon's eyes glowed golden. And that is my eternal justice. My eternal... Time turned back only half an hour earlier. Hari and the soldiers were walking. How lucky. One of them cheered. It seems that we will not have to fight if we follow him. The system window appeared. Mercenaries from outside. On this vast grassland, a war between tribes is taking place. Ally with one of the two tribes and help them win. He was surprised. An NPC support mission. Captain Kim spoke. Mr. Gu, it seems to be a faction-choosing mission. Di Xiong replied, That is right. I think we have to choose one of the two tribes in this war and lead them to victory. He wondered, the question is, which side will be more beneficial? Suddenly someone shouted, pointing straight ahead. Wait, isn't that an army of monsters? From ahead, a cloud of dust appeared, the figure of an army running toward them. They were orcs, one orc riding a boar in the lead. It growled with a fierce face. In its hand was a glowing axe radiating killing intent. They ran past the group. They formed a semicircle blocking their path. The leader stepped forward. Who are you? This is the territory of the War Axe tribe. How dare you trespass on our land? The soldiers were silent, all wearing helmets so their expressions could not be seen. Hari spoke softly. Your Majesty, please calm down. Leon's face turned red like a tomato, veins bulging. Bastards. She tried to persuade. First of all, why don't we follow the scenario of this mission? He crossed his arms and pouted. Do whatever you want. Hearing that, her expression softened a little. Thank you, Your Majesty. She immediately changed expression and turned back. Hari spoke loudly. We are a mercenary team. Hearing that helping a tribe would bring a reward, we came here. The orc was suspicious. Mercenaries, you must be the ones the chieftain mentioned. Follow me. He barked. Move it. She looked nervously back. Leon behind her was angry. Sparks of lightning surrounded him. A while later, in front of the orc tribe's area, the group stood before the orc chieftain's house. The War Axe tribe's chieftain Karta tilted his head evaluating. "You look uglier and weaker than I thought. But that's fine," he roared. "Support our War Axe tribe. The greater the war, the more glorious the death," he said arrogantly. "The victor will have everything." Leon's anger had reached its peak. His eyes were covered in light. His voice hissed like a demon. "I can't stand it anymore." Karta was startled. "What? Who are you?" He stepped forward. "Honor, glory." Leon's face was full of killing intent. "Beasts, you are not honorable warriors," the orc shouted. "You, insolent." In a flash, Leon gave him a slash that cut off his head. Blood splattered onto a soldier's helmet. Leon roared in furious wrath. "You are not honorable warriors. Keep dreaming that dream in the dirt like worms and die." The war frenzy of the king erupted when facing those wretched monsters. Now he had lost control. "You will die. That is an undeniable truth." Up to now, 8,769,653 orcs had been slaughtered by the king. Leon's face was covered in orc blood. He had obtained the title Orc Butcher, a legendary title. The orcs were shocked. "What? The chieftain is dead." They rushed forward. "Filthy humans, kill them all." A soldier froze. "What the hell? What's going on? They're attacking us." Leon shouted. "Filthy orcs, soldiers, raise your shields." Di Xiong quickly raised his shield. "Damn it." The group quickly ran to form a line. "Hey, stop there," he cursed inwardly. "We're just D-rank hunters. How does he expect us to win against orcs?" An orc swung his axe. "I'll kill you." He flinched. "I'm dead." It swung down. Even blocking this strike would be. When the axe hit the shield, a flash of light appeared. Di Xiong was surprised. "I blocked it. How could that be?" Suddenly, the system window appeared before him. The Radiance of the Brave Heart effect adds armor against enemies. Body becomes sturdier. Increases troop morale. Strengthens armor and lightens it. Hardens skin. Grants magic resistance. Enhances body strength against fierce attacks. Boosts endurance against ranged attacks. Vision clearer and farther. Amplifies durability. He was stunned. What are these effects? The system displayed. Orc Butcher effect adds 50% more damage when fighting orcs. Orcs nearby will sink into fear, confusion, and despair. Hatred toward orcs spreads. Everyone was astonished seeing the system window. What the hell? How can this be? All Leon's titles appeared. Living Demigod, Protection of the War Knight, Guardian of the Holy War, Dragon Slayer, Demon Lord Slayer, Demon Hunter, Shadow Assassin, Brave Battle Knight, Agile Body. The levels of the Legion members were very low, could not grant many additional buff effects. The soldiers bravely resisted the orcs' relentless assault. "These are all buffs for our army." Leon gritted his teeth. "Raise all shields in defense. Then strike their weak points with your swords." One obeyed and slashed an orc's belly. The morale surged. Di Xiong rushed forward. "Kill these bastards." A bloody massacre began. "Charge." The orcs shouted. "The god of war will stand with us." Leon was shocked. "What?" Rage surged again. "How dare these vile creatures invoke the gods? You will pay for that." He waved his hand, summoning a magic circle. "I'll cut your tongues, crush your heads for insulting our god." An explosion rang out. "Come, stallion." The orcs were puzzled. What the hell is that? Before they finished, two of them were kicked in the face. A white horse burst out. Leon rode it majestically. Stallion slid forward, splitting the orc crowd. He used force. Two magic circles appeared on each side. From within, two weapon hilts slowly emerged. Leon grasped one in each hand, his eyes glowing brightly. With a spear in one hand and a sword in the other, he charged alone against the entire orc tribe. His words were like a verdict. "I will kill all of you monsters." After a while, the last orc fell. Around them were only orc corpses lying scattered. Leon raised his sword high. He shouted passionately, "Cry out, you victors. This is a truly honorable victory." Everyone rejoiced. "We won, thank goodness." Hari stammered, "Yes, your majesty." He turned. Hari, what is it?" she asked. Why did you do that?" Leon looked at her like a clown. "Do I need a reason to kill orcs?" She felt a chill of fear. What? But the mission was. Leon flared up again, killing intent overflowing. Support orcs. Nonsense. I'd rather jump into a pit of fire than help those green-skinned bastards. His teeth ground. They do not deserve respect. Their very existence is an insult to this world. Images of orcs capturing humans appeared. Yes, they may be strong, but how can they compare to the courage of knights? Leon's face twisted. Do not treat them like humans. They are disgusting beasts. Hari was shocked. He discriminates against orcs. She still tried to argue. But your majesty, surely there must be a kind orc somewhere in this world. Hearing that, he just sighed deeply. Leon looked at the naive Hari and said, remember this, my innocent girl, if there really were kind orcs, they are all in hell now.